Well, dudes, thank you guys for coming to hang. This is awesome. Duane, we go back a little bit in skateboarding and stuff, so I kind of know you. But Nick, it's the first time I really sat down and talked to you.
Yep.
Obviously, I think both of you guys have backgrounds in like skateboarding and growing up in Birmingham and stuff. But hearing about the Haints and like how the dojo got started and how you guys got into bikes, and I guess one of my first questions right out of the gate would be, what is the Haints? If you had to define it.
Well, you're from the South, right?
I'm from the South, yes.
Yeah, it's a ghost.
I've
It's a
heard
southern
that
term for a ghost, yeah.
But as it relates to you guys and your crew, and how did all that get started?
It's a pretty good one. I'll let Nick tell you. It's
Well,
a good one.
I mean, all right. How do you put it? There's been choppers in Birmingham for sure. I mean, it goes back to the 50s, but when you first started seeing custom bikes around, there wasn't really a scene for it. And we're not the first Haints. There were guys before us that did it. And when they saw a custom bike go down the road, they'd call him Ghost. Who was that Ghost? You know, did you see that guy? That was a Ghost. You know, just a hardtail bike or some cool handlebars, something that wasn't factory. And then when those guys started meeting up and hanging out, they started a thing called the Haints because they were all ghosts. They didn't know each other until they met up. Hey, I got a custom bike. What's up? You know, you were at that bike night or however, or that bar.
So yeah, Applebee's, man.
Yeah, I saw you at Applebee's.
Yeah, it was just a
dad night.
yeah. It was just like you don't see a lot of those bikes around. So I was like, I saw another ghost tonight, and then they kind of turned it into the southern term, which sounds a lot cooler than I guess ghost.
The ghost, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
It's also a color to Haint blue, apparently.
Haint blue. I
Yeah,
feel like
Haint
I've heard
blue.
that.
Yeah,
Hey, paint your porch paint blue to keep the ghosts away.
that's it. That's
Really?
that's a southern
Yeah.
thing too. Yeah.
Ghosts can't cross water.
Really? Okay, that's wild. So there were guys in town that were kind of calling themselves the Haints before you guys.
Yeah, we met up with them kind of that same way. We,
Yeah.
being skateboarders, we all knew each other and we got into bikes and got into the custom side of it and all that stuff. And then going out, doing the biker thing, would see these guys and met up. Oh, that guy rode a rigid bike, you know, and then met up with them. And that's, the rest is kind of history, if you want to put it that way. It was just that we became buddies. Like right out the gate, if you ride a bike, you have a relationship with someone that, a custom bike anyways, you're going to have a relationship with someone right out the gate.
Like skateboarding. You see a dude that's got a skateboard.
Totally.
Like, hey, me and that guy's going to be friends. You know, he's
Yeah.
got a cool skateboard. He knows
Like a
what's
common
up.
bond.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So that's the way the motorcycle thing was. Like, that dude's got a cool chopper or a custom bike, and I've got one. We should go ride somewhere. And it's just a way to have an adventure, you know?
Yeah, very little cool guying, you know,
Yeah,
early on
no
in that.
egos.
So-
Yeah, no egos. Really.
I'm lame, so I'm gonna get a bike. But how old were you guys when you met these dudes, the pre-Haints, to
Hell.
the Haints that we know now?
When I was early 20s, I think.
Yeah.
22 maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
21,
Early
22.
20s.
Yeah.
So were you just skating, or did you have friends or your dads that rode, or
So, dude,
granddads, or
like,
how did you get into
So I
bikes?
worked at the skate shop at the time, and Nick, like Peter and Ben, those dudes always had motorcycles, and
Yeah.
like Nick had a motorcycle when those dudes were into motorcycles. But you know, it was just, hey, get a motorcycle ride around town. It's more convenient. It's cool, whatever. And then later on, like through skateboarding, I would see things like, oh, you can customize these things, and Nick was into the same thing. Which me and Nick knew each other way before this through skateboarding, and then he started bringing his bike around more. And I'm at the skate shop, I'd see the bike out front, and then we'd talk skateboarding and motorcycles, and hell, Chauncey, I think Chauncey got a motorcycle. And me and Chauncey, like I'm like 45 minutes north of the city. I'm in the woods. Like I grew up in like nowhere. So me and Chauncey like grew up skateboarding together, so naturally we're going to get motorcycles together, and then we link up with Nick and some of the other like homies in Birmingham, and we'd all ride. And then we had our own little clique, I think, before we met like the other like established Haints.
Yep.
And they're like, hey, you guys should ride here with us, or let's go do this, and just
Yeah, I think I
there.
specifically remember seeing Joe at a bar because there was a bike out front with ape hangers, and we're like, dude, that dude's in there. We're
Dude,
gonna
he's
find
got
him.
a tall sissy bar.
Yeah,
hangers,
and you walk into the bar and you immediately recognize me. That's the dude. You know, hey, what's up, bud? And then friends for life immediately. So
Now, were they rocking the patches and stuff?
no, well, they had T-shirts.
Oh, they
That's
had
it.
t-shirts,
Like
okay.
it's kind of a T-shirt thing because I'll give you my shirt off my back.
That was
You
the
know, it's-
rules. Yeah. and just not to get too established to where it's a club, because like club things always get complicated, and it kind of takes the how pure just riding, having fun, drinking beer, going party, doing cool runs and stuff. So they always kind of straddle the line, like, hey, we're organized enough where we're like riding motorcycles together and doing cool shit, but we're not a club, no association, nothing like that. And I think by doing that, the other clubs are like, hey, these kids at the time were fucking kids.
Yeah.
Like, hey, these kids are cool. Like, they just want to ride motorcycles. They want to build something and test it and see if they can get to where they want to go. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. And the established guys, the big dogs around town, were like, hey, they're just guys that want to ride motorcycles. So
Yeah.
the Haints never
These little
had,
shits
like,
riding these jalopies around. There's no problem.
yeah,
with
we
them.
probably got made fun of a lot, but it was never like nobody ever had the patches or nothing like that. We had shirts, just it's still fun to dress up,
Yeah, sure.
So we dress up, and
it seems kind of like a club,
It-
from an outsider's
Yeah,
perspective,
totally.
not knowing.
well, it's funny. Like people have said that because, dude, that's what we were like when we were like skate kids, Like
Yeah.
we just all kind of like clicked together, and if we got in trouble, we all got in trouble together.
For sure.
Like
The bar names you.
Yeah,
Oh, it's those faith kids, or it's those Haints, those little shits.
That's how it was, and that just kind of, unfortunately, if there was ever a bad rap or reputation, it stemmed from skateboarding. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
we were just like turd dudes that wanted to go party. Oh, somebody's having a house party. Let's skate and let's do this and be crazy. So that
sure.
same mentality kind of transferred over to the motorcycle side for us. I know the other dudes
Yeah,
are.
it's a good reputation to have when you're trying to fucking ride
The
choppers.
days of the infamous White House.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
it's the
yeah.
same. Yeah, you know how it is. It's part of it, I guess.
So, what was your first bike when y'all first got into riding? I guess that's an individual question for each of you. But
No, it's the same bike.
Yeah.
I think
Same
we had
bike,
Sportsters.
Sportsters.
Yeah.
Harley Davidson, baby.
And Harleys, yeah. We started out, and that was another thing. The whole Haints to the starting out, dude. No, I think me and Nick may have been the only guys that had Harleys.
Yeah.
We were actually kind of outsiders having Harleys
For sure.
And the other dudes had metric bikes and stuff, and it wasn't what you had. It was like what you did with what you had.
Yeah,
Right.
it's always been about your mentality.
Yeah.
It's like
Okay.
you if you're on two wheels, we love you. That's how it always has been, and
Yeah.
it still is that way. Like, you could have a dude that's the biggest kook on the coolest knucklehead chopper, but he's still a kook douchebag. But then
Yeah.
you have some kid on a Honda that's rad, and you're like, this dude rules. I want to hang out with this dude every single day. That's the mentality we've always carried and still carry.
yeah, that's sick.
so-
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was never like some Harley elitist thing. Like you're looking at two guys who like restore vintage Harley antiques. We're snobs about parts and stuff, but we still appreciate craftsmanship, and we've never turned our nose up. Like high school, man. High school
Yeah.
rolled into town from Fargo on a Honda CB.
Yep.
And it was like, this dude wants to ride, he wants to party, and he just wants to have an adventure. And that's
Exactly.
what we're doing. So it was like, bring it on, man. Like there's never been like a brand specific,
For sure.
It's
And
custom.
in our crew, I feel like we all have cool bikes. I'm very proud of every bike that's from the shop, from the Haints, all that stuff. But everyone is specific. Everyone has their own personal preferences, which is awesome. Like me and him, 100% antique Harleys, but there's dudes that ride Dynas. There's dudes that ride Sportsters. There's guys that ride Honda CB 750 choppers, and they all are passionate about their vehicle, and that's what's cool about it. There's no snobbery. There's no, your bike sucks.
Jet
It's like,
bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you
None of that.
suck, dude.
That's crazy. I remember. I don't know if you remember this. I ran into you one night. They have the bike night at the race course out there past
Yeah, yeah.
Trustful.
Oh, that was
Whatever,
such
yeah.
a good time.
That was like 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And you walked up to me. I was there with my dad and like his
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah,
and I was
man.
riding like a Honda Shadow.
Yeah.
And you came up. You're like, dude, I know you from skating. Blah blah blah. And we walk over and we look at. I think it was Chauncey's bike.
Yeah.
And it was the most like ratted bike. He had like a
bird's nest for wiring.
he had zip ties all over it,
Uh-huh.
and the thing he had dirt bike grips,
Yeah.
and he had a like a piece of plumbing as a exhaust pipe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
And it was like zip tied on, and I was
yeah.
like, "This
And that's
thing-
so cool.
That is so cool." Like I just thought it was.
Oh,
like,
that's the bike
raddest
that he
thing.
took the swing arm and turned it upside down and then welded it to make it a hardtail.
Yeah.
It's like just the critterest awesome
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. But I was like, "What is this? This is amazing. This is awesome."
What a good bike night. $1.50 beers.
Yeah,
it was
They're
fun.
ruled.
Yeah.
And you had a giant dent in your tank, and you were like, I ran out of gas. I got mad and punched the tank.
Yeah,
Just ignore that.
That's
Just
pretty.
ignore that.
That's
It's not the
pretty
first time
common.
it's happened.
Oh, that's
Signature
cool.
move.
Custom, little custom action. That's all.
So you guys tool on bikes and, just kind of like surfing through your Instagram and stuff. It seems like you're big into knuckleheads. What is it? What's the draw for like some of these old bikes, and where do you even find parts for these things, man? Like
Yeah.
like a classic knucklehead engine. I don't know much about bikes. I'm gonna go ahead and preface that by saying I'm not in the know as far as like the ins and outs of like building old Harleys, but like a knucklehead, for example, how far back is that dated when were actually manufactured?
36 to 47.
Yeah.
36 to 47.
Yeah.
Damn.
So that's
Well, if you
like
want to get nerd on
World
it,
War
35
II.
prototypes, but
So
that's nerd shit.
So that's like World War II crap.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Pre-war.
Pre-war. Man,
Yeah.
that's insane.
That's a term too, by the way. That's
Oh, that's a really
lifestyle.
okay.
Yeah.
Pre-war.
It's some weird elitist thing. I hate to say.
Yeah,
that.
when you're buying knucklehead parts, it's like pre-war stuff is significantly more expensive than
Yeah.
post-war parts, which
So-
is significantly expensive anyways. But
Pre-war.
there's a real expensive part of knuckleheads, and that's pre-war.
Sweet. So where, when you're building these bikes, are you just doing it for fun? Do you actually have people coming to you saying, "Hey, I want a knucklehead," or maybe
Well-
I have part of a knucklehead that I need you to help me
Kind of.
get back running or something?
We have built bikes for people and all that, but most of it is for ourselves. And down the line, you'll sell that bike to finance the next build.
Yeah.
But it's mostly for fun. But we have both had contracts to build bikes and whatever, or building a bike and someone walks in the shop, they're like, I want to buy that when you're done. I'm like, all right, cool, done.
Sweet.
Because
Deal.
Yeah.
I'm not going out hunting a knucklehead for someone. There's no way. If I find one, I'm buying it.
How many do you own?
I have a few.
Have a few. Okay. But they're actually up and running. You ride them.
I have a few projects. I have
Projects.
one that is I could kick it and ride it anywhere, and then I have a few others I'm slowly building.
So when you slowly building these bikes, where do you find parts for these pre-war
that's
machines?
gotta be
Swap
hard.
meets.
Swap meets.
meets and like for me, I'm not good. Quick disclaimer: I'm not good with the internet. Again, I'm from the woods of Alabama, but
What the hell's the internet?
getting to know people, man. Like he was talking about the pre-war stuff. Like anytime I find anything, it's just I go help old guys work on stuff. Like I took welding in trade school to make flat bars for skateboarding, and that turned into
really?
motorcycles. So
That's cool.
I've actually know my way around the welder pretty good. So dudes will be like, "Hey, can you weld this thing? It's aluminum or this or this." I'm like, "Yeah, man, let me help you out." And they're like, "Hey, you like this old stuff? I got this old stuff." And then, like he said too, the swap meets. You gotta go to the swap meets. If you don't
Yeah,
go to
I mean,
swap
we
meets,
don't
find
just
it.
like go to the local. I mean, we go to the local swaps, but if we're getting stuff for bikes like that, we're going to Iowa or Ohio or the big ones that are national. But at the same time, man, that's just a knucklehead. A fucking panhead's so much cooler.
Really? See, I don't know the
We like them all, man. Like,
I was about to say, what is the most sought after?
It's a knucklehead. It's
Knucklehead.
a
Yeah.
status thing, though, man. It really is. Like it's a status thing. But guys like us who just want to ride, like we'll ride anything,
Yeah.
like
For sure.
whatever's running at the time is what we're going to ride. But it to me, and I don't know about Nick. Like to me, I like to work on something different. So I'm like, hey, like I haven't ever like built this. I'd like to try and work on this and see what's different from that to this, and then it's a test for yourself, I guess, to see what you can and can't do. But for riding purposes, like he said, the panhead is probably what it's. You still get the cool guy points for riding the panhead, and everyone. If you're looking for clout, you get your clout from riding the panhead, but you also get the sense of, hey, this bike's gonna get me there and back, no problem. Whereas like the knuckleheads that we've got are like, is it gonna make it back?
You're not
I
going to
don't
take
know.
that to Sturgis.
We might.
Well,
I mean,
well, I mean,
yeah.
they're all built to ride.
It's a
Oh, yeah.
test.
Yeah,
you know?
totally. I mean,
a
just for me, a panhead is just a more reliable engine, and I know it better. And just to clear up the knucklehead shit, that was like the first real old chopper I ever saw. So in my head, I was like, I gotta have a knucklehead, and it was just
Okay.
I got obsessed with it, So any knucklehead part I saw, I bought, and that's it. Like I built me and him built panheads at the same time, about 2012, and fuck, we've ridden those things to California and back numerous times, to
Sturgis.
Canada and back, to Sturgis and back,
Wow.
and it's just like, fuck, a panhead could be so wrong. It could be built so wrong, and they just work. I don't know how. I mean, not right. They're out of time running like shit, but they're working. You're not seeing a shovel head do that. A shovel head's got to be perfect. It's going to run good, but a panhead could have a head on upside down and it's going to work. I don't know how.
So if you had to explain to like the layman why a panhead is so much more reliable, is there any one thing that
Better
sticks out to you?
Better technology,
Updated.
less parts.
What year was the panhead?
48 to 65.
Okay.
So it was the predecessor of the knucklehead.
And what was the predecessor? Was the ironhead before the knucklehead?
No, Ironheads came out in 1957,
And they ran
okay.
they ran up to the 80s, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so that was a completely different engine.
So Knucklehead was first year overhead valve.
Yeah.
So that's why that's another reason why it's so nostalgic. It was like hey, we just changed the game kind of thing for Harley. Like
Harley and Indian basically had beef because they had flatheads and side valve engines, and then Harley came out with this prototype motor that's an overhead valve, and it just smoked a bunch of shit right out the gate.
Just more powerful.
Yeah, push rod engine, and they changed the game right then. And
it was all race shit. Like it
totally.
always stemmed to like, hey, can this Harley beat this Indian, or like how can we upgrade our performance? And then before you know it, it was a consumer thing.
Yeah, you could buy like a 61-inch knucklehead in 1936 and it'll do 100 miles an hour, which is crazy.
God,
without any modification, 100 miles an hour guaranteed, and it's holy shit.
But that's why
insane,
it's a
dude.
nostalgic thing, and anything that's nostalgic costs money. Like guys want it, gotta have it. My neighbor's got it, I want it. This sort of thing.
And the
But
whole
just to
rarity
clarify,
factor.
this is our passion. Like this is not for the rest of the Haints.
Oh yeah, dude. I think me and him were the
nerds.
only ones that nerd out on that kind of stuff, man. We do like not to sound lame, but like the whole American Picker thing. Like we were doing that like before it was like a thing,
Yeah.
Just
we
because
knew that's how to find parts.
Yeah, that's the only way we could afford stuff. Like like anything we've got that's cool is probably got a cool story to it because we found it some weird roundabout way, and we ended up with it. And little did we know at the time it was so valuable. We're like, oh man, that's cool. I saw like Mac Schaff had this thing, and it's like, oh, we need one of those. Skateboarding goes back to skateboarding.
Yeah.
But the rest of the dudes in the shop, man, that's what's good though. Like he said, like we started Panheads at the same time. The dojo, like once it started, which we'll get to that, and we'll talk about how that kind of started, was like the good thing about the shop is everybody kind of like pumped each other up. Like this guy would be building something like, dude, I want to
we
build
feed
something.
each other, man.
And then you just feed off the other guy's energy. And if you got 12 dudes in the shop, they're all like-minded. They're like, oh, dude, I like what you're doing. I'm going to do this. Like, hell yeah, I like what you're doing. And then they would just snowball. So all the guys kind of have their own like individuality with each bike. And we just feed off of everybody that's doing cool shit, basically.
Totally. And we also value our friends' opinions, like our brothers' opinions, So you're building exhaust and if you walk up and you're like, that looks fucking lame, dude. I'm like, no, this is going to be awesome. Like, no, dude, do it this way. And you're like, oh, I trust his opinion, so I'll do it this way. Oh, you're right. That is killer,
Okay. That's cool.
I feel like we do that a lot.
Yeah.
I tell
we can
Alex.
be pretty
I tell
honest with
Alex.
each other.
It's
But
constructive criticism,
It's
right?
constructive
Yeah,
criticism,
totally.
but it's coming from a place of love. So if you have like, I can pitch something to him, whatever various
Like,
ideas
that
we have.
fucking sucks.
He'd be like, he wouldn't say that fucking sucks, but he'd be like, I don't know about that, man.
Well, we're so close.
workshop
Just
that,
like you guys being brothers, you're so close that you can say that.
You can say that,
and
yes.
you don't feel bad about their feelings because,
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I love all my friends so much because I value their feelings, they value mine, and they can tell me like, hey man, your shit sucks right now, or your attitude's a fucking bummer, or whatever, you know, and like we'll listen to it. If some dude at the bar says that to you, you're like, fuck you, asshole.
You can't say it to me. You can't say it to him.
Yeah, exactly.
So, well, dude, going back to the kind of the rare finds note, you said you guys were like picking before picking was cool. Any cool stories of just like rando shit that you guys have just found?
Dude, we could probably go on for days about
If
that.
you had to pick like some of your top, like just
We've been
diamond in
my
the
God.
rough.
We've been in the most methed out tweaker dens you've ever seen, dude. There's no telling. I don't even know.
There's always some
Crazy story.
critter stories and stuff.
Remember that guy that we went to that was outside of in the middle of the country? I think it was like Brookwood or something like that, and he wouldn't sell you anything, but he would just sell me stuff.
Yeah,
And we were
Nick-
together.
I had a mustache, and Nick says because he didn't like my mustache. Like, fuck
Yeah,
that, man, my mustache is
this
cool.
old tweaker dude had a shed full of parts, and he was like, "I want to sell it all." And we're
You just
digging.
post on Craigslist. How you find somebody like that?
I don't even remember where that thing was at. It
You're
might
just out riding around, just
Yeah,
like,
we
dude.
got the word from someone, some dude down the street had some shit, and like we went and checked it out. But we went together, and like I don't know, like Duane's like, well, how much you want for all? I don't know, we'll figure that out. And I pick up like a Magneto. How much you want for this? I don't know, $100. I'm like, cool, man. And then Duane's like, oh, how much for this carburetor? He's like, I said everything's for sale, not just individually. And then I buy a seat, and the same deal. Duane's like,
Just giving you shit. Man, that sucks.
This is his mustache. They didn't like his mustache.
Yeah, there's some good ones though, man. I don't really, I can't think
Yeah.
of too many.
But
like,
you've never like rolled up and just had like a whole bike, like just
So-
under
yeah.
a.
yeah, so like
happened.
the whole you may see this word pop around or pop up barn find or whatever.
Barn find.
Yeah, so that's a pretty common thing, especially around here. The knucklehead I have is actually, I went to go look at some cylinders because I needed to fix a motor of mine. And the guy's like, oh, I got some Panhead cylinders. You should come by sometimes. I procrastinated for probably like 8 months.
8 months.
And I was like, dude, I'll get
Not-
over there. So
not
I'll get
these
by
days.
there, man.
little did I know. I get over there, and the guy's got a barn full of old motorcycle stuff and a school bus full of motorcycle stuff. And in the pile, there's a 36 Knucklehead. And that's not the coolest part of the story. The coolest part of the story is he found it at the landfill, which like the dollar amount on that motor is pretty expensive these days. But when he picked it up, like, it's like, it's just the old Harley motor. I'll make a go-kart or something
Yeah,
out
the
of it.
price of scrap metal or something
Yeah,
like that.
so somebody had dumped it at the landfill, and he picked up most of the pieces that he wanted. Like, it was a whole bike. Somebody cleaned out the garage and just threw it away at the landfill. He worked at the landfill, and he was a motorcycle guy, so he's like, I'll take this home with me, no big deal. Had it for years, called me to come look at some cylinders. I was like, maybe one day. Get over there, and there's a rare pre-war like knucklehead motor in there. And I was like, wow. And then before you know it, I'm wrangling in friends to help me. He had a sidecar up in the hayloft. I bought everything I could. I bought all of his motorcycle stuff, and we had to get ropes and a little pulley to lower the sidecar down.
Did you have
out
to
the
cut out like
hayloft.
piece of the roof or something
Yeah,
like that?
we had to cut out.
What?
It was a
Yeah,
floor,
so
like a
gnarly.
mezzanine type floor.
How do you get it up there?
I don't know.
Build it up there?
Yeah,
I
probably.
think it was open at one point. Put the sidecar up there and then framed it in. So
He's like, yeah, I was like,
yeah, he's an older guy,
Yeah,
you
I don't
know.
need that thing.
And dude, he's stoked. Like, the motor's built. I'm trying to restore the bike. It's been a process, but the motor's rebuilt, ready to go.
So you've still been in touch with him?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sick.
So that guy's like,
And that goes back
That
to
guy's
what we were
cool.
talking about originally. Like he's had that pile, that bike he's starting to restore for how long? Like
it's been a minute. Yeah,
like
I
10
don't
years,
know.
close to that, or maybe not that long, but he's still working on it.
Yeah.
Because it's that hard to put those things together.
Yeah.
Because
it's
he
so
left the
rare.
good parts at the landfill. Like
Yeah.
he's like, oh, this gas tank's got a dent in it. I'm gonna leave it here. So they only got like early.
It's like 2.
They have 2 gas tanks,
Yeah.
fat box. He left one of the gas tanks there because it had a big dent in it. And so he only took the one good tank, and then he took half the fender because of something in this. He left the front fender because it was tweaked.
Got a hole in
So
the lip.
I got most of the parts to put it together. And I was like, I'm gonna restore this bike, and and it's just choppers are more fun. So we build choppers.
Definitely.
Yeah.
we'll still work on some old stuff to restore.
We got our
it.
old man bikes. When we're old and retired, we got our old man bikes to ride. Until then, choppers forever.
And that's all the guys in the dojo, man. We're like everybody just wants to ride most of the time, but everybody wants to build a chopper. Like,
Yeah,
everybody
sure.
wants a chopper, and us too. That's what our whole thing's about. The whole Haints thing was custom life, custom death. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
the CLCD is what that was for.
For
So,
sure. I mean, choppers are awesome. I mean, would you rather be a rock star or some fucking, I don't even know where to go with that. But
You want me to be Steven Tyler, or you want to be Axl Rose, man?
yeah,
Come
exactly. Fuck Aerosmith.
on. Sorry, Steven.
Well, let's take it back, man. So how did the dojo begin? You guys are getting into bikes, coming from skateboarding, kind of transitioning to riding bikes and stuff, and you start thinking, I want to have my own place to tool on bikes.
That's why. Yeah.
How did that happen?
Well, when we became Haints, our good
we
friend
became Haints, so you're blood in, blood out.
Oh,
Yeah, we got blood in, blood out.
Yeah.
We did.
our friend Brandon had a house in Avondale, and he had a dirt floor basement that he would he had a welder and some tools, and we'd hang out at his house every Thursday night and drink beer and work on our bikes, all that stuff. But it's his house. His wife's upstairs the whole time. We're up till 2 a.m. They got work. I mean, we kind of have work then, but so whatever. And then we meet our buddy Larry, who had a shop south of town in Pelham, and greatest host. Like, I have a full blown shop. You guys can hang out here, all that stuff. And that was kind of our home base for a while. But at the same time, that's his business. He's trying to run a business, and we're there doing this. We're drinking beer, being shitheads when customers are coming in and out. We're building our bikes, and it was awesome. Larry didn't care, but we kind of felt guilty a little bit. So me and him were like, dude, we need a spot. When we started looking on Craigslist and found a building that was convenient for everyone, which was in Southside, or was it Southside? Lakeview. Yeah, Lakeview.
Was that the 4th Avenue spot?
Yeah, that was the first one, and it was like the centralized location. So Larry and those dudes that lived south of town, them that lived north of town.
Yeah, because we all lived in, like, Nick, I think you lived in a loft at the time, right?
Yeah, I
Phoenix?
lived downtown.
And then me and Chauncey lived in a townhouse, and me and Chauncey were working on his Ironhead, my Ironhead, and then Nick would come over and we'd all trouble, like, that's how the dojo still is.
Lot, like in your townhouse, yeah.
We'd all, like,
just out there in the parking lot.
Yeah, straight up, dude. Like oil on the ground.
Yeah,
It's
dude.
so
Yeah.
goofy.
I imagine these like nice townhomes.
all of our
and, like,
toolboxes were pushed in, like, you would open the door of the townhouse and it's got a little hallway before you go upstairs. There was like a row of toolboxes and you just wheel the toolbox out to the driveway. And
Some
that's
crusty,
so awesome,
shitty
dude.
biker skateboarder shit.
Yeah,
Like-
and then that was all the guys I think that got into the first dojo. Like there was tons of dudes that we all rode motorcycles. We all did camping trips. We'd ride. The rules are no chase vehicles, so you gotta like work on your own shit. You built the machine? Is it gonna pass the test? If it doesn't pass the test, we're gonna help you get where you gotta
yeah,
get.
we're
and
with
then-
you no matter what, but
Yeah.
tighten your shit up. You know,
So, and we're like, hey, if we're gonna continue to do this, then yeah, we've got to have a central location because we would go to Larry or Brandon's and use their tools and their knowledge, and it's kind of getting a little bit of a nuisance for them. So the spot over in Lakeview came up. Nick like worked a deal with the guy, and
You just
then
found that randomly?
yeah, it was like on Craigslist or something back when Craigslist was
a thing.
the end all be all.
Yeah, man.
So, hit the dude up and was like, yeah, would you take this much? And he was like, yeah, sure. So we got a centralized home base for everything. We're like, this is perfect. Which was, you look back at it, it was like a house with a 2-car garage on it.
It was.
I thought it was like an old church.
It was
or something.
small.
No, it was next to an old church.
Oh, it was next to the old church. Okay.
It had that old church had an old piano in it, and Meeks would sneak over there when he'd have too many beers and just
go play piano.
Dude, you'd hear him all night.
That's fun.
Is this the 4th Avenue spot we're
Yeah,
talking
that's
about?
right next
Yeah.
to Holt.
Oh, okay.
On the one way.
Yeah,
So that
yeah,
old church
yeah.
is what separated
Yes.
our office where I work, where he used to work, from you guys.
Yeah.
There were some epic parties there.
Dude,
man.
I heard
Holy
some
cow.
of them, yeah.
Yeah, we had a trampoline, mandatory for any motorcycle shop. Have a
Yeah,
trampoline.
you need a
have a
trampoline. You definitely need a trampoline and a basketball hoop. You need that too.
Speaking of that trampoline, I saw a video where everybody's holding the trampoline up,
Yeah.
and Meeks is on it.
That was our
jumping up and
doing
down,
backflips on it.
and he's like seriously like 15 feet in the air.
We dropped it
And
too.
I'm like,
when after that was done, we dropped it.
Yeah.
how did he not just fall on the fence?
He's
and
Meeks.
just
John Meeks.
die?
He
Yeah,
doesn't
And,
he's a
like,
cat.
dude, that's
He
crazy.
lands on his
man.
feet all the time. If it was any of us, we would have turned to dust. But it's Meeks.
I remember seeing that video and I was like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. This is insanity.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
This is wild. So how did you guys fund that place? Did y'all just pull in?
Everybody just
and
paid
say,
rent.
hey, we're just
Yeah.
gonna. We all want to have a place. We're gonna throw in the
Yeah,
pot.
we could spare $100 a month, something
Sure.
like that. We could all do that, and then if we pay extra, so it covers the utilities, anything that comes up. Like
Yeah.
this past month, we had a busted water line. So I mean, if anyone's dealt with that, it gets expensive, and especially your water bill, you realize that it's expensive. But we had the shop fund to cover that because everyone pays extra every month,
Yeah.
and you're just disciplined. It's just something that you got to pay this every month, whatever. So. You look at what you're paying for, and I don't take the dojo for granted. We joke around that some of our friends do, but mostly no one takes it for granted. They know how special that place is. So yeah, no one has any problem chipping in extra money every month to make shit work. So.
Yeah, it's like having good roommates, basically.
Yeah.
Shit pops up, we address it. And everybody kind of paid rent. We do parties from time to time, too, where we like just take donations or whatever. In fact, the trampoline thing you're talking about was the beginning of our first annual dojo party. Falling Barks, so we just got kicked out of the barbers for partying a little too hard.
Yeah.
The Vintage Fest. And we're like, let's go back to our shop. And then we all went back to the shop and just raised hell, had a good time, and it's 10 years now, I think.
No, it's
Wow.
11. This is the 11th.
This is our 11th
10
party
years.
coming
11.
October the 9th. It'll be our 11th year.
Yeah, 11th. Last year was 10.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now that I've met you guys, I'll have the kahunas to actually
Dude,
come
on.
hang
You're going
out.
to come anytime, man.
Everyone's welcome.
I was like, I don't know those guys.
You could
No
come
kooks,
anytime,
no
man.
assholes. That's it.
I'll try not to be.
Are you gonna actually break out the bobber
There you go.
Yeah,
Round
there
the
you
block
go,
over
dude.
there. There you go.
The original spot started there at the 4th Avenue. Obviously, you guys are still going strong, but you're not there anymore. So how long did that last, and where did you go next?
We were there for 5 years.
5 years.
And then, you know, it was one of those things we kind of started seeing. I mean, we obviously knew we outgrew the place. Just
How many people were thrown in on the first spot?
fucking.
There may have been 8 originally.
people.
on the
Yeah, but
first
like
spot.
I would say 12.
But like people
It
stay
didn't
there.
seem like a big spot, man.
No, it
well,
wasn't a big
people
spot.
would like Scotty stayed there. Scotty lived there for a little while, and then yeah, he did.
That's
Um,
awesome.
And we'd be working around him, like he'd just be sleeping on a cot, like partying all night, and he'd come in, sleep. I think he worked at a bar or something at the time, so he's
Yeah.
coming in late hours. And then we'd come in the morning and start welding, grinding, working around him. It didn't bother him.
He's like, man, I've had a
Doesn't
long
wake
night.
up.
Didn't
bro.
bother
Could
him.
you just wait to fire up the grinder, please?
Didn't
Please.
bother him at all,
No,
man.
he sleeps on a rock. You could weld him. He's
Yeah.
not gonna do anything.
Oh, that's cool. Awesome.
Yeah, it was a cool deal, man. We got the spot. We all pitched in, fixed it up ourselves. So.
Y'all had a mini ramp back there, like
Yeah,
the Homewood,
old
the
Homewood
Homewood
ramp.
ramp.
The old
man.
That was, I
How the
think
hell did y'all
Still
get
one.
that?
Peter, I think
Yeah,
Peter
he's
and
donated
Ben. Yeah, I think Peter and Ben may have worked that somehow.
They were like, we need a place to put this. And
Yeah.
you're like, we have a spot.
Yeah.
You can
Oh,
bring
yeah.
it here.
No, I think they just put it there.
Yeah.
They just knew it was okay. Like,
Yeah.
all right, here you go.
We're all skateboarders still. Everybody knows the deal. So
It's so funny, man. I commend you on your Instagram skills because I feel like I've seen like so many just hilarious videos where Bowles is like riding the go-kart up on the ramp.
Oh, the
and
fake you're
coming
talking about.
back.
That was
I'm like,
awesome.
what the fuck? This
Bowles
is
has got
crazy.
some go-kart skills
Dude,
for
it was
sure.
insane. But it seemed like all the time, you know, I remember I don't know if it's still going, the Haints 69 blog. Is that still a thing?
Dude, Instagram
there,
killed it all.
But
it's
it was
there,
like
but-
epic internet lore, you know,
Oh,
just
yeah.
like all the crazy shit. I
well,
imagine
there
it
was
you
no
that
like there was
posting.
no one policing the internet really.
Yeah,
You know, you
yeah.
could just put whatever you wanted on
Well,
there.
you put whatever you want.
Dude,
on
whatever. I would put dicks on there.
Just like the
and
most random
never
stuff.
got flagged. It's like cool, right on. Let's
That's
push
awesome.
the limits. I was hoping to get flagged. Like that was kind of it. Like, let's just see what
I
happens.
want to get it shut down.
Yeah, totally. The only problem was like all of our friends and relatives and parents all looked at that
Yeah,
too
once
to see what
once
we're
your mom
doing.
starts kind of, I want to see what you're
Yeah.
up to, and
Seeing
you're
a
like
butthole, your friend's butthole in there, you're like, oh damn it.
peeing, sitting down.
No, the good thing is the blog kind of documents some of our debauchery, but we got lucky. We still party and raise a little bit of hell, but we got lucky. There was not a lot of documentation of how this really began. Like the
Yeah.
blog's got a lot of evidence on there, which has probably been filtered since then because there were tons of users. If you're a Haint, you had, you know, whatever you
Like
could
a
post.
login or
Yeah,
whatever it
you
was,
post
yeah.
shit on there. And I'm sure a lot of the guys have deleted stuff off there too.
I'm sure, dude.
I know there's probably some stuff on there I'm not proud of.
Yeah, you get a
but-
little bit older, and you're like,
I know,
okay,
I
let's-
know. Like,
we
we're
need to-
married, we
need to
got
get
kids
rid
and
of
shit
that.
now.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, hopefully they don't find that.
Yeah.
But still, we got lucky then. We were at the weird transition where like not everybody had an iPhone in their pocket at the time and
Yeah.
documenting some of the stuff because there's some questionable things
Well,
done.
dude,
in our
everything
day.
that I did, like when I'd post stuff, I had a
digital
I
camera?
had a digital camera
Yeah.
that I tied
Digital
to.
camera.
Yeah, I tied to the pocket of my vest. So like when we're riding, like if I'm one-handed taking photos or filming videos or whatever, if I had to drop it and grab both hands, it would just hang. So I would
Smart.
always had this thing. Oh yeah, dude, on it.
Yeah.
So I always had this thing, and so every morning I would get my coffee. I would upload my digital camera onto my computer, which took a while, and then almost like do a journal entry, and that was kind of the blog
But
thing.
where did that come from? Where did you
was-
get the
that
idea
was
to like
what
I'm gonna
kept
start
us-
I'm gonna start taking pictures
Well,
of all
so
this stuff.
with
That's
bikes,
what
like
kept us into
like
it.
you know, we only knew us through bikes. That's it. Or Atlanta, all the closest cities that we would travel to, we would meet people that way. Like the internet was not a real big thing then. And then I remember we found something. I forgot
Dude,
what
there
it
were
was.
so many good ones.
Yeah, it was. There was like I think it was. It wasn't Glory Stompers, but it was some kind of blog that was really cool and it had links to every single chopper blog. And it was like, whoa, this is awesome. So I went through the whole list because it's just like you're nerding out in this culture, and there's all these other dudes across the country and across the world that are doing it, and you get to see them through this blog shit. And then we're like, dude, we got to start one, you know? But you would just get juiced just seeing all this stuff, just so hyped. It's like finding an outlet for skate videos that you don't have to pay for.
Yeah.
And you just click on a link and you're like,
holy shit, dude, these guys
You
are in
know?
North Carolina doing this, and these guys
That's
are
it,
over in
for
Tennessee
sure.
doing
That-
this.
That's
For
how we
sure.
met different groups too, man.
Absolutely.
Like our shop was like just one of many. I hate to say this. I think we're
There
one of
was
the
hundreds of them.
I think we're one of
Hundreds.
the few left, to be honest. But like our collective was not an uncommon thing when we were getting into motorcycles. It was very common, and we still hang out with a lot of those dudes from
Yeah.
Chicago who still have their
Well,
shop
yeah,
going.
those are very close friends of ours. There's a shop called Bravetown in Chicago.
And that's
And
we met them through the
that
like
way.
blog stuff. Like, hey, these guys got a cool blog. Kemosabe in the Lodge.
Yeah,
I think
that
is
was what
they
it
had.
was.
Yeah.
And like those dudes are, our buddy Josh, that was part of that. He's a photographer for Harley now, and so the photos he posted were great. And then, Brian's really good at writing stuff, so it was just journalism, and you're just like, wow, not like our shit where it's like a butt, and you're like, yeah, we partied. It was actually, here's a motorcycle trip. We're narrating the whole thing. And you're like, wow, this is awesome. And then when we started riding long distance, meeting up with people, we met up with them, and we clicked like immediately. We're like, oh yeah, same mindset. You guys like goofy
I've
shit.
been searching for this thing, or I'm having this problem, or I guess
Yeah, more
a
of
lot
the camaraderie,
commonalities.
man.
the
It's just
camaraderie,
like
yeah.
this because like with every other scene that gets big, you got a bunch of bozos and stuff like that, and these dudes stayed pure, just like us. We're just like, all right, dude,
Yeah,
skateboarders forever, whatever, it's just the same mindset, and we're just great friends to this day still. But like he said, there's few and far between with a lot of the original blogs and whatnot.
well, it seemed like it certainly peaked there for a while. It's just like, holy shit, like everybody that was in kind of my age bracket that was into skating has now gone into like building motorcycles. Like that's the new thing to do.
Well, it's a great transition.
Yeah.
Like you think about it, it's like I thought I'd never say this because I skated as long. I don't even remember when I started skating. Like just a kid, like a little tiny kid, I always had a skateboard.
Mm-hmm.
So you're never like, I'm getting too old to skate at all. Like that's something you'd never say. But as you progress or in life, we found bikes, and it's just the perfect transition because it's sketchy. You're not really supposed to be doing it, but you can. It's kind of lawless. I mean, that's why every skateboarder is into bikes.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
That's rad. So the original dojo, obviously you guys outgrew it after 5 years. Where was the next place that you guys went?
Yeah, Powell Avenue. Well, we're still on the same block.
So that's the one over there next to the current skate shop that actually claims the same name. They're like, oh, the dojo spot.
Yeah, that's why they call it that.
That name is
I
like,
didn't know that.
is branched out.
Because
Yeah.
we put some flat bars out when we first moved in across
Dude,
the parking lot.
it's like a full-blown DIY.
Oh, yeah.
Well, dude,
It's huge.
me and Bowles used to put so much stuff over there.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit here,
It's
kind
kind of like across the street from y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all were
Yeah.
on the corner.
Well, that
Exactly.
building was abandoned where it was at, and the owners,
Had
owner
free
was our
range of the
landlord
place, yeah.
at the time, so they did not care what we did. And
He's just like, I'm glad to be renting this place. It's awesome.
pretty
Yeah.
much. That guy ended up being a critter, so whatever. I don't give a fuck about that guy. But then, then it changed owners, and the new owner was cool and all that, and so the dojo spot, the skate spot, was kind of their problem.
Yeah.
And it.
Like,
Well, it lives on, man.
We still skate
Still
over there.
there.
Like when
Yeah.
we were leaving.
Well, they had like a contest there.
Yeah.
I think you
Yeah.
guys were part of.
At Go
And
Skate Day,
Like
I
they're
was there,
lighting
yeah.
the ramp on fire.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
all that
for
stuff.
sure.
Yeah, we're still, like Peter still does all the like. Birmingham obviously doesn't have a skate park, and I don't even know what would happen if guys weren't still motivated to do DIY stuff. But the dojo just seemed natural. We would put a little thing here, and then another kid would bring something, and then it just got to the point where I was like, "Hey, man, things just keep coming up missing," or this dude's
The
brought
building's
some
getting
like,
spray painted on,
yeah,
whatever.
and and so we kind of had to like step back a little bit because people would come to us for answers. I'm like, man,
Hey,
this-
what happened?
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's like how
exactly.
people go to Peter for answers. Like, am I responsible for every kid in the city that owns a skateboard? But that's kind of what was happening. So we backed up a little bit, quit making stuff. We still go over there and skate. But yeah, the dojo skate spot. It's funny. It's called that.
Yeah.
We just call it the skate spot because our shop is called the dojo. So it's Chopper Kai Dojo too, by the way.
Yeah, no, we had Jason from All Hands. He printed that board back there, and he talked about it a couple times. And he was like, "Yeah, the dojo spot. We'll go over there and skate." Blah blah blah. And I
Yeah,
was just
yeah.
like, that's funny. That it started with you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, really
Um,
weird.
So how long were you in the corner spot? You said you're not there, but you're still in the same block.
Yeah, we were in the corner spot for anher 5 years.
Another
And
5 years.
Yeah, and
so that seemed like a huge upgrade, though.
Oh,
that place,
insane,
Actually,
dude.
I got to visit once, and
Yeah.
it was one of the big meets you guys had. There were people, vendors
Yeah.
set up outside and stuff.
For sure. Well, I mean, you got to think, dude.
You had the
went from
bar inside and
Oh, yeah.
everything, man. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
You got a house with a 2-car garage that we have literally shoehorned motorcycles into, and we needed a bigger spot, and then we upgraded to a Kwanzaa hut that was 5,800 square feet, just warehouse. And we're like, oh,
5,800
dude,
square
it's on. Like,
Now, did you guys have to get more people to throw in, or
More
were there
people
enough
just
dudes
kinda
that were
drew
just
to
like,
it.
Yeah, so like there's
I want
always
a spot.
been like our buddies that ride that wanted to be a part of it, but we just didn't have room. And then this gave us the opportunity to do that. We're like, dude, we have room, and it would help us out on rent. So we had to up rent a little bit, but with the other dudes coming in and offsetting the rent a little bit, we're like, oh, dude, hell yeah.
It's
So
kind
it-
of a one-stop shop
For
too,
sure.
because like Shane had a paint booth in the back, so it was a body shop originally. So some of the stuff was kind of there to continue a paint booth.
Yeah.
But like, say you come up here, we'll weld this, fix this. You go here to tune this car, do this, get this wiring harness. You go here, and then you could make it all the way to the back of our shop. That's where Shane's paint booth is. Try and get your tins in there to get painted.
Full blown in-house
Yeah.
everything.
well, that's where
It's
the
just
lines,
homie stuff too.
Yeah.
You know, it's cool.
But that was rad because the lines started to get blurred. I'm like, is this like a full blown like business? I mean, I know you guys like tool on bikes and stuff, but I didn't quite know where the line was.
Yeah, we
as
don't
far
even
as,
we
like-
won't work on people's bikes either, man. Like, you know, we've had literal people come up like their bike in the back of the truck. We're gonna unload it.
That's
And,
what
like,
I was thinking.
go
I was
down
like,
the-
this is
go
a shop.
take it to the
yeah.
dude down the street.
It's like a full blown garage. Like, take your bike up there. They'll
No,
work
it's
on
all
it. Yeah.
our personal
It's
stuff.
just everybody working on stuff. And
So it's never been about like, hey, let's try to turn this in business
No.
and make money. Or
not the
anything like that.
dojo. No, like, you know, we'll flip parts, or I sell old parts and crap all the time, and then like we swap meet like crazy. Or if we build a bike, it's to sell. Like everybody does. Like basically you build a bike to start. It keeps the fuel for the fire going. You know, you're like, I'll build this bike, I'm going to sell it to build this other bike. It's an endless cycle. It's
Unless you
actually
fall in
weird.
love with your bike, like we usually do, and we sell a bike once every 10 years.
But as far as like contracted work, like it's usually what it is. We'll build you a chopper, but like I don't want to troubleshoot your carburetor or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah, exactly. It's
Okay,
very
I
rare that we'll
gotcha.
do that. We'll do that for our friends that we know. Like, oh, my bike's not working, dude, bring it by, whatever. But we're not gonna have some random guy show up and be like, oh man, can you change my tire? Nope,
No,
we don't do that.
So it's purely about the passion of just like
Absolutely,
just
for
bikes
sure.
and having
But
fun.
and
And
when
stuff.
nobody's like turned away, it's like if some dude's from out of town and he has something's
I
broke,
got a
like,
flat, or
Hey,
I
I-
need
we'll
something
fix it
welded.
then.
everybody's
Yeah,
like, yeah, hey, I
absolutely.
know a guy in Birmingham. Call him, and then like, oh, you need to go see all the dudes at the dojo, and then like between somebody or everybody there, somebody's gonna help him. There's like that's what we want to see is like, oh, dude, this dude's traveling from like Fargo or something.
Yeah.
He broke his frame. We're gonna weld it up. We're gonna fix him up. You
That's
know,
sick.
like.
Dude, that's awesome. Man.
Yeah, that's what's good about it. Like that's kind of how we met a lot of people. That's how we meet people on the road. Like if
Yeah.
we have contacts, like we know so many people all over the country just because we've probably broke down in their state. You know,
Yeah.
like hey, anybody know anybody in this area? I'm like, yeah, we know a guy. And then before you know it, you're over at his shop, fix your motorcycle, and sorry late. So hey, let's drink some beer and hang out. And then you built a lifelong relationship.
And you don't leave his house for a weekend.
That happens.
Just tent city in the backyard.
That's
Exactly.
it, man.
Take
Yeah.
over. Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Well, I know you guys take a lot of trips. Speaking to that, you know, I saw the one where you guys were all dressed in white and took
Yeah.
a trip, and you call it the super trip, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that becoming like an annual thing? Or
It's
is
usually
it
biannual.
biannual where you guys
Yeah.
all just load up and just take off somewhere?
Yeah, usually hit the road. I think 2 weeks is about what most of us can do. Like 14 days on the road.
That's a long
It
time.
is.
It is,
Yeah.
but most normal jobs are like, you know, you get 2 weeks paid vacation and we just
Yeah.
cash it all in.
Yep.
Cash it all in
so,
at once. Yeah.
it sucks for the wife and kids that want to go on vacation, but FOMO.
So,
yeah.
so when you guys do these epic trips, I saw one video, man, where you guys got off on like this. It was like a trail that would be hard to like hike through, much less ride these bikes. And I think Justin Moon was on one, and he's on like a hardtail, and he's getting stuck in the mud, and he's slipping and sliding, and he ends up dropping his bike.
Oh, yeah,
and-
that was
and, like,
Shane.
all this-
Yeah.
or whoever. It
But
was.
yeah, Moon was on the same trip. Yeah, man, that's part of it. Like, hey, this is a
That's
cool
why
campsite.
That's why
yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah.
But the fact that you would ride a hardtail to like the other side of the country, is that something that
this is a cool points, man. You get the cool points
Oh,
if you're on
dude,
rigid
is that
terrain.
I prefer.
I've never ridden one.
I
so-
just
I prefer
Is it as brutal as they say?
No,
I mean, are you
not
like
at all.
peeing blood by
Dude,
the time
I-
you get
Not
home?
at all.
Like
No,
I just rode a swing arm bike, and I was like, dude, that's like we just did a last loop trip that a few of the guys couldn't make, but I rode a swing arm bike, and I think now I'm like, dude, I'm still young enough. I think I would have preferred the rigid frame because I've
Really?
only done it on a rigid
It's just
frame.
different. It's different. Like first off, mechanic wise, it's easier to maintain, especially in a long haul. Like
Well,
don't have-
it looks like you got a hardtail frame
oh,
tattooed
oh
on
yeah,
your
for
arm
sure. That's
right
a knuckle
there.
frame.
Knuckle frame. Okay.
But yeah, like on the road, like if something on a rigid like messes up, I mean, it's an axle, some spacers, your rear wheels off. That's it. You know,
It's like working on a bike.
Dude,
Yeah,
it's
like a literal bike.
yes, there's nothing in the way, so maintenance is easier. Handling is a completely different world. A rigid bike, I mean, people will argue this point, but a rigid bike will handle better than any swing arm, period, because you have no flex, no resistance, or anything. I mean, watch for potholes. You know, I mean, once you do it for so long, you're trained. Like, oh yeah, I need to go over here. And when we ride down the road, it's like if there's something in the road, we're pointing. Or if there's a pothole, we're pointing. So we all just kind of know.
So if you're doing Deal's Gap, the Dragon, which is that
Go buy a
famous
crock
road,
bucket.
you would take that on a rigid frame before
We did
you
it.
do it.
Yeah, we did
We've
it on
done
the
it.
rigid
Okay.
a couple
Yeah.
times. It sucks. It
Yeah.
sucks riding that road
We did it in
because
the rain too.
Yeah.
On rigid frames.
well because
that's
you know
crazy.
like that bike is what is it like 11 miles and a bazillion turns.
There's like
and it's
111 turns or something like that.
yeah, if you
We
had like
did
a
the
dual
bastard
sport
dash
or
that
like
time.
a sport bike or something, that's got to be fun for sure. But on a rigid, you're like, dude, the turns are so
I just
gnarly.
want to
You're
not fly off the
scraping.
road.
Well, you're just scraping
yeah,
and all
yeah.
that stuff. You cannot really put your bike through the test. Like it's just sketchy.
You're just trying not to die. Okay.
Yeah, totally.
But that's kind of like our thing, you know. We ride choppers, so like if you're gonna, you know, you can be about it or full time or part time. It's like, yeah, you built this chopper, just ride it, and that's kind of what we all have done is rigid frame, whatever you got though. That also
Yeah.
goes back like, hey, if you got to stop bike, you're coming on a trip, it's a cool adventure, you know, do it.
Oh, dude,
But
that's awesome.
The rigid frames kind of go, you know, with the.
But you take the
chopper
rigid
scene.
frame just as much as you take like.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
mainly all we
a
got,
Springer
you
or
know.
anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mainly
for sure.
everybody's got rigid.
Doesn't kill you. They do look
No,
cool.
it
man.
doesn't
You get
kill
that
you,
low
man.
look and all that stuff.
No, it's very comfortable.
It's about
You
the
have your shit set
adventure,
up.
man. Like that's why our super trips are. Like I always say, it's the test that we're due for. You test your abilities. Like, hey, you built this bike all year long.
Do you trust it?
Are you gonna get it? Like, we always go pretty far. You know, the trip where we wore all white. I think we just went to Colorado, didn't we?
West
on that
Virginia.
trip, West
Just
Virginia.
Colorado.
Yeah, West Virginia.
And
Went to
we've
the
done
Colorado.
that, and you know, hey, we could go on for days. Stories for roadside repairs, fixes, binds, things like
They're
that.
the best.
And they're
Like,
good, man. That's how you have an adventure. Like,
Yeah.
that's the
You
only.
get a trip without a breakdown, it's kind of a lame trip. As shitty as that sounds, like everything's perfect. It's boring.
You've never had somebody's bike just like catch on fire and nobody has a fire hydrant and you're just like, okay,
We always keep a
well.
bottle of water on our bike.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you like we and not to sound like
learned that?
not that we're like pros, but dude, we've been doing this a long time, and and we just went on one trip. There was a few of us guys. It was me, Bowles, Robbie, Warren, and a couple dudes from out of town met up with us, and we all know what to bring. But some of the guys from out of town like, hey, why do y'all bring this? I was like, trust me. We're gonna need tire spoons. We're gonna need tire spoons.
Yeah,
we're
you're gonna need tubes.
yeah. And it's just little tricks of the trade, you know. So in 3,000 miles, you run into a lot of problems, but if you've done it and you know your way around your bike, it's not a hard problem to solve. We went to Sturgis. Nick had like 3 flat tires.
Yeah, it was
And
great.
high school had a skateboard on his sissy bar, and we were like, Nick had a complete flat. It was like, dude, we got to get this
Came off
bike
the
off
beat
this
and
hill. And we probably were on some reservation somewhere at the time.
There's the Winnebago tribe.
Yeah,
territory
and he had a flat tire. This was the 3rd flat of the trip that he'd patched, repaired, and it got to the point where we couldn't fix it anymore. So we had to get it to a better location for see if we could call in reinforcements or a tow truck, something to get him to the next town. But high school had a skateboard, so we all picked up he had a Panhead, a 48, right? 48, put it on the skateboard, and we pushed it. There's a photo floating around somewhere. On
How
my
long did it take?
That's probably on my Instagram. Somewhere
Yeah,
you like
couple 2-3 minutes.
yeah, it was just us pushing his bike down this lonely desert highway, you know, Panhead sitting on a
wild,
skateboard.
man.
And but the thing is, as crazy as that sounds, everybody's like, we're throwing in towels. Like, no, what we did, we got him to the next town, and then high school, being the trooper that he was, jumped on his bike the next morning and went to a dirt bike shop because he had an 18, which is kind of a weird
Yeah, it's
tube
an
to
odd
find.
size.
You can't find it on the side just anywhere. But high
Not
school.
to mention the dirt bike shop he went to was 60 miles away.
That's what I say. High school being the trooper that is
Yeah.
jammed and got the tube they needed, and we had it back on the road the next morning, and like we all hit the road and no one skipped a beat, and that's just part of it. Everybody kind of throws in, but
That's your buddy. You keep referencing
high school.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Is that like a
His name's
nickname?
Robbie.
that's his name. High
Right,
school.
yeah.
He's
his
younger
name is
than us, so
Robbie.
we always call him
Okay.
high school. 'Cause
Okay, okay.
I think he just got out of high school and come to Birmingham.
When we met him, he was a little kid, and we're like, damn.
You just out of high school, man.
What? Okay,
high
I get it.
school?
Yeah.
Mhm. But yeah, there's always some stories to go with these trips, man. Like countless stories, like critter stories where, hey, we're about to get murdered on this reservation. No
Yeah.
one's ever gonna find their body. Or, hey, this dude had a crazy blowout. Or, oh, this dude almost died, but he didn't. So we're gonna party. You know, the camping spots too.
Oh, wait, there's a tornado coming. Wow.
yeah.
So when y'all plan these trips, y'all are just like camping on the side
Back
of the road, just
roads.
wherever
Yeah,
you go.
we
Well, that's
take
the
back
adventure.
roads, no chase trucks. Like it's you
No
know,
chase trucks. What does that mean?
Like
Just not no safety truck.
no
driving.
friend.
You're on bikes, that's it. You're
That's
relying
it.
on you
Okay.
and yourself and your
Like
place.
you got to
That's
be
it.
able to fix your own bike. Everybody pitches in. Like it's not like that. But like, hey, within like 2 hours, we got to figure out, can your bike continue on the road, or do we need to find you like a hotel or something?
So we can keep going.
Yeah, and that's usually how it goes. And some dudes have blown up their motors, and we get them square away, and they just party wherever they're at. They're having a good time too.
Just like, all right, I'll catch you on.
I'm on vacation, like
Yeah.
Taiichi, our Japanese buddy.
Or I'll meet.
he-
I'm gonna fly to the next city. I'll meet you
well,
on-
that's what he did. Our buddy wrecked in Arkansas, messed his bike up, coming through some twisties. His sleeping bag actually fell down in his front wheel and locked up.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, laid his bike down,
Gnarly.
messed him up pretty good. We couldn't fix his bike the next day, and we put it in a. He got a storage unit.
Yeah, got a
and then
storage
he
unit.
just met us in California. He flew to
Independence, Kansas storage unit,
Yep.
whatever. I'll figure it out.
yeah, and he just flew to California. I don't think he left there for a couple of years.
Yeah,
too. He stayed there
got
for
a
a
job
minute.
there and everything.
Yeah, so it's an adventure every time, man. But that goes back to, when we were younger skating, we go on skate trips. Everybody posse up Saturday morning, go out of town, go do something cool. That's how us old guys do it now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you're on a skate trip too, if you get a hotel room, you got 20 dudes in the hotel room, so it's like camping anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's gonna be dirty and scummy. Might as
Yeah.
well.
yeah.
But like, I mean, on the road, getting a hotel it's cool. Sometimes it's necessary, but it kind of defeats the purpose. Like, and not saying live off the land, but that's part of the adventure. It's
Oh, yeah,
finding the
absolutely.
campsites, like
Yeah, man.
finding the experience. That little bar in that small town in the middle of the desert, and it's crazy. We're from the South. It's first off different landscape and different people. Boom, that's why we do it. It's a passion. It really is.
Dude, that's awesome. One of my favorite skate videos is I watched it early on. Is Tent City.
Oh, I knew what you were
Oh,
gonna say.
dude.
As soon as you
Yeah.
said
Dude,
skate,
that
you're talking about Tent
video,
City.
like when they, it's like almost like a documentary.
Dude, that's
And then
our
they
super
got-
trips. Like
yeah.
that's literally like how it
I
goes,
was
man.
like, dude, this is awesome. You just like
Yeah.
crashing wherever you got a tent. That's
Exactly.
it. And
That's it. Except
Isn't it-
we're hammock. Well, most of us are hammocks. But
hammocks.
Same
Yeah,
shit.
that's the thing.
Same
Yeah.
exact thing.
It's an adventure, man. Like I hate to keep referencing this last super trip because Nick had some other priorities.
I got a house, dude. It was the first super trip I ever missed.
but
I had to stop looking at Instagram.
So where'd you guys go?
California. Went to the Born Free 12. This last Born Free. in
went my
Is
California.
that one y'all
route
try
to-
to go to every other year?
We
or
just
is
pick
it
a destination, man. And that was like 3,000 miles for us, and
just a cool 3,000.
yeah, and
Yeah,
it
no
was.
problem.
easy.
You guys need another beer? We good?
I'll take one.
Yeah,
But,
we're on deck. Might as well.
But no, it just turns into an adventure. Like you'll find somebody at a bar, or like, hey, there's this cool event going on, or this band's playing, this cover band's playing. Like, hey, Jimmy Buffett cover band's playing next door. So we go over there, and before you know it, that's turned into a full blown adventure by itself.
Yeah.
And like, so coming back from California, we stayed in Vegas. We stopped in Vegas. That's where we broke the cardinal rule of like the camping thing. Like, we'll stay in the casino.
Vegas,
we hadn't
baby.
bathed in a
Yeah.
few days. Let's get in the swimming pool and bathe
Dude, the
off.
Motel 6s in Vegas are actually awesome.
Dude, we
Yes,
stayed. We
they're
stayed.
so nice.
The place we stayed at was pretty cheap because we all piled in one room and split the payment. And they had a water slide that went through a shark tank. What? Yeah. So it's and
Oh, y'all bougie, man.
dude, but it was pretty cheap because there's like 8 of us in one room, but there was an oil sheen. Like when we were in the swimming pool, people were just getting away from us because we've been on the road for like 8 days at this point.
There's a film.
And everybody's like just getting away from us. It's like, dude, we hadn't bathed in a while. This is great.
chlorine.
You get gnarly on the road, man.
And-
it is gross.
And then like some of our friends, they're pretty wild. I'm not gonna name drop, but anybody that knows him knows who I'm talking about. He is. If y'all have ever seen the movie The Hangover, that's kind of what it was like being in Vegas with that guy. So
It's wild now. Yeah.
And it was like, hey, 1 minute we're in the mountains of Colorado, we're in the Rockies looking at this, and then we're going through, Monument Valley, Utah, looking at all these crazy rock formations, and then we're, going to California, seeing all the cool stuff, and wildfires, dude. We got detoured like 8 hours for a fire, dude. It was insane.
It's just like a fog.
Dude, it was like some really apocalyptic type stuff.
Oh,
it was
shit.
crazy.
Y'all were like close.
People were freaking out. Like it was bad because the traffic jam was so bad. People's cars were overheating. People were getting mad.
We went through a wildfire one time out west, and I remember I thought it was a dust storm, but it was a wildfire. Like, how is it different than that?
The people's reactions were bad because there were 2 gas stations,
like evacuation kind of deal.
Yeah, because the interstate was jammed up outside of we were still in California, but whatever city we were coming through, and the 2 exits that were like 9 miles up, the fire had like kicked the power, and they had no power. So once people were fortunate enough to get off the road, they were fighting, they were arguing over water, gas,
God.
Dude, crazy.
And
You're just like in survival mode, I guess.
Dude, yeah. And we found the spigot outside, and we're just laying on the spigot cooling off, But that's just another one of the adventures I was talking about, like it was whatever comes on the motorcycles usually turns into a good time. We've had a couple bad blowouts and, a couple spills, nothing bad.
Dudes I was about to say, man, anybody get messed up? Any bad?
Nothing,
It seemed like I saw a picture where your buddy that does the harnesses,
Abe Knuckles.
Yeah. It seemed like he got plowed.
That was like right here in Birmingham.
That was the old Dojo.
One of you guys took a picture.
That was in
of
Lakeview,
his bike.
Yeah, that was my photo. He's in a sling and his bike's bent over and all that stuff, dude.
That was right behind his work, man. Yeah, right behind the old shop.
So is that the worst you guys have seen?
There's been some bad ones, man.
There's been gnarly ones.
There's the story of your guys, though.
Yeah, no, like Meeks and his ex-girlfriend got plowed.
They had to get a rod put in his arm.
They got hit head on 7th Avenue and went through the windshield of a car and stuff.
Oh my God.
That was gnarly.
Nick Brunson's been hit a couple times. Poor guy.
Yeah.
A couple of times.
Well, me and Meeks hit each other head on. I don't know how we got out of that one.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
We're stupid.
They're goofing off.
We're stupid.
Yeah.
No, we were at,
jousting each other.
That's what I was about to say.
We were just there was a gravel lot near the shop, and we're just doing burnouts and stuff in it because gravel's real fun on a motorcycle. Yeah, just doing donuts and stuff. And I'm burning out and, kind of like drag burning, like burn the tire and then go. And then
kind of slowly get traction.
Yes. And Meeks is directly across from me on the other side doing the same thing. And we're just like looking at our bikes like, yeah. And then we look
they both
up.
bite.
Dude, we look up at each other and we're coming right for each other. And it was just so gnarly. Like we just hit each other head on. I flipped over the bike and the Meeks went underneath it all. And our bike's literally 69'd. It was nuts. My front end is broken completely off, and there's a good photo of our bikes on their sides, 69ing. And J-Body was in the street watching us, and he was like, I remember we got up, we checked each other, gave each other a hug, like holy shit, and then you just hear J-Body go, "What the hell are you guys doing?" I don't know, man, but that was stupid. Like we could have been so bad.
Yeah.
But we just got bruised up, just some skint up arms and stuff, but. We could have lost limbs.
Yeah.
But we're just stupid. So,
dude, surviving. That's awesome.
Exactly.
9 lives. Speaking of the just doing the whole camping thing and traveling across the country, there was a documentary on Netflix a few years back. It was really popular. 29. What is it?
29 Days Under the
That's
Sky.
29
that's
Days
our
Under
buddy
the Sky.
Josh.
Yeah, we're friends with everyone.
Yeah, dude, and that was a rad documentary.
That's what we do. Only we don't.
You guys got to get somebody, a filmmaker, to travel with you guys on your next trip. Or
Well,
something.
John Meeks is, but
dude,
whatever. He's just having fun.
We're not the only guys that do it. I feel like what we do is very special. But it's like, dude, what we're doing is the reason why we do it because the dudes that we were stoked on, the choppers and shit, those dudes did it. And then now there's a younger generation that are doing it. And that's fucking rad, man.
Yeah.
And the fact that Josh and those dudes filmed that documentary is
So you know those guys?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
did that?
Those are all friends of ours.
We've rode
They're just
miles.
like, man,
with-
we're gonna drive across the country and take 30 days, and we're gonna make a.
But what they did is exactly what we do, plus several other groups.
Yeah,
and that's what's cool about this chopper thing because anybody can do that. You saw how much of an adventure they had. You know, I keep referencing the adventure because dude, there's not much life. There's not much.
It is
left in
kind of
life,
the last frontier.
Yeah,
It really is.
You can't really have a good time. You can't be adventurous anymore. There's no risk, no danger, no like this is the safest way to have an adventure, I guess, short of going to like a third world country. But in here, like we'll ride motorcycles. Maybe we'll get to the campsite, maybe we won't. Maybe the bike will make it, maybe it won't. Like you never know who you're going to meet on the road, what you'll gain, knowledge. Like you might get some cool parts, like me and him, like, dude, we met a guy out in the desert. Like he's got a ton of cool parts. We're going to go back and buy some stuff from him,
Yeah.
Or like, hey, I met this like cool person who's got a little like muffler shop. They let us use their welder because his sprocket sheared off the drum, And that dude said he comes to Alabama all the time. I told him to come by your shop. Like you meet tons of cool stuff, or tons of cool people do tons of cool stuff, and you see like I'm bad. I'm getting old. I can't remember a lot of stuff, man. But like, dude, going through
I'm 28 forever,
dude,
just so you know.
But dude, like going through some of the places we've seen, I'm like, I've probably seen 100 times in a car or an airplane, but like seeing on motorcycles, 100% different. Like going through Zion, everybody's been through Zion. Like go through Utah, whatever. But like seeing on motorcycles, like, yeah, it's epic.
360 epic view.
Yeah, man.
And we caught some weird like 1,000-year storm where a lot of the plain areas flooded, so it was like amazing. I'm like, dude, in a car, I probably would have just like drove by it, Like in the motorcycle, I'm like, whoa, man, look at all that.
We gotta be careful.
Yeah, so
it's crazy.
Like Monument Valley on the motorcycle is like awesome. You see that in a car, you're like, oh, this is really cool.
Been in every movie, but once you see it in person on a motorcycle, it changes everything. It's just like, holy shit. And I'm doing this with my boys, and I'm not a doctor, but I would say that's pretty healthy. Yeah. Like for your mental state. Like
that's what I tell my wife. It's like I need it for my soul. All right, these knees got to get in the breeze. Right?
It's good for you. It tests it strengthens your bonds with your boys, your friends, and it tests your abilities to hack it. And it's whether you're solo or with your friends, it's amazing. But just solo, you're just like, holy cow, I'm gonna pull over and just piss and look at these mountains.
Yeah,
because this is just amazing. There's not a soul for 50 miles in any direction. This is insane. It's really good. It's really good for you.
And that's why we try to do as much as possible. It's like a biannual thing now, but it's the glue that kind of keeps us, because life gets between everybody, and everybody kind of goes their separate ways, grows up, does whatever. And hell, we're growing up. We got kids and mortgages and shit.
I'm 28.
Nick's the oldest 28-year-old, But that's those trips. But somehow, some way, we got like a little special group outside of those like super trips and shit. Like just weekend. Like we had this conversation earlier. Like if we go on a random camping trip, we still act the same, act up the same, party the same, and have a good time the same. If it's just the 4 or 5 of us, or there's 8 of us, or at some event where there's 1,000 people, like somehow we got lucky enough, our group of friends that have stuck it out this long. Maybe it's the motorcycles, maybe it's the super trips, maybe it's the skateboards, I don't know. But we always have a good time wherever we go, and the super trips, in my opinion, like kind of help the glue. It's the glue that kind of keeps us together. Because the adventure, there's highs, there's lows. It's the camaraderie. It's the craftsmanship of your machine. Like, hey, are you gonna what can you contribute to this particular problem? Like, hey, this guy may not be the most mechanically inclined, but he knows what the cold beer is, or he knows to go to the gas station real quick because this is going to take about an hour. He'll show back up with some beer.
For sure. And
everybody plays their part.
Exactly, and they do, man. Like,
and it's being very proud of your friends. It's just like I hang out with the coolest dudes in the world, like, period. Like, I would much rather put us, I don't even know an example. Put us around a bunch of celebrities that are cool in movies. I'd much rather hang out with my guys. At the end of the night, like, those are my friends. They're the ones that impress me. I'm trying to impress them. I care about their opinion, no one else's. And it's kind of, being on the road with that, dude, there's nothing, like, you can't put it into words. It's fucking amazing.
I feel the same way about you, brother.
Yeah.
See, you guys know what we're talking
there you
about.
go.
Y'all know what we're talking about.
We know. Yeah,
You get it. You get
Y'all
it.
have a super trip together. I can tell.
Dude, I'm coming on the next one. But yeah, dude, just road trips in general, that's like just part of American culture. And,
Absolutely.
And experiencing it from the way that you guys are, on a chopper or on a cool bike, or just a group of guys on a bike. That just sounds awesome, man.
You could do it in a van.
You could.
It's not
there's
as
a lot of
cool,
people
but, like,
doing
you
that.
do it in
Yeah.
a van.
Yeah, I get that. And Yeah, it seems like it would be a true test of like your will to
It
keep
is.
going,
It's a test of a lot of things.
Because I imagine after about hour
strengthens
8,
your bond,
you
man.
know, it's like, dude, fuck, my ass hurts. This is like
It's a
this
test
is
of a
brutal.
lot of stuff. Even like a test of
The
how
wind burn, the sunburn. You know,
Yeah,
your arms. You can't put your arms down or pick your arms up.
Dude, it's
or
more
whatever.
like the tribulations of it. More like, you got to piss again, man. Like, come on. You know, it's
So how
it's
does
like,
that work? When you just wave your hand?
You just,
Oh, no, it's
you
like-
just
pull out
don't
in
want to be
front?
that guy. But if you
Yeah.
are that guy, like what I do, I'll hang back and let everybody pass me. And our rule, like a lot of times, like if you ride with older bikes and stuff, you see a guy slow down, everybody starts looking, everybody immediately flags to the shoulder, like, oh, there's a problem, let's stop and fix it. And no one complains, no one fusses. It's just like, all right, here's another thing we got to deal. We'll deal
I like
with it.
smoke a cigarette.
But
It's
like
cool,
if you
though.
got to pee, you're like, go ahead. And everybody's like, oh, he's probably got to piss. And you just keep going, and they'll pull
You
over
just
real
catch
quick,
up.
pull the shoulder piss, then catch back up.
That's
but
cool.
that's a pretty common thing. I do it a lot too.
Sure, yeah.
I think there was a stretch like when we were going out west, like the first super trip, where I think it was headed to Tuba City. It was just a straight road in Arizona where, you could see for 70 miles.
One of the iconic
Yeah.
roads.
Forrest
where it's
Gump.
Just,
Yeah.
Forrest Gump road.
Exactly. But like we had all split up and kind of were going our own pace. Like some dudes were hauling ass, some were going slow. And there was a point where I'm riding by myself and I'm looking around and I can't see anyone, my friends, no people, no houses for miles. And I'm just cruising. And I'm like, dude, this is
But you're just
the
zenning out,
baddest
man.
thing
Yeah,
ever.
like that euphoria. I'm
yeah,
just
like for 20 miles, I'm riding by myself, but I know at the gas stop, I'm going to see them.
yeah.
So it's cool. It's so cool.
So you talk about the first super trip. So where was the first destination? I know you probably have a million stories.
Born
but,
Free too.
Yeah, Born Free too.
and where? So that's
California.
That was in
Southern
Long
California.
Beach, California.
So that's like a motorcycle festival.
So
or
Yeah,
something?
yeah, going back to blogs, that was pre-Instagram. So we knew of this show that from the blogs we looked at, and they did Born Free 1, which was in a parking lot of somewhere. But it was just the most epic show at the time. You're like, holy shit, there's hundreds of bikes, and every one of them is
Cool
the best
shoppers.
bike you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
They're all in like the same like building, old school bikes.
Well,
and stuff
not
like
it was
that.
all
Or just
outside.
everybody?
It's California. Everything's outside.
Okay.
So I remember they announced Born Free 2, and we were like, dude, we're riding to that for sure. Like, dude, you know how long that's gonna take? Fuck yeah.
People are
let's do
piling
it.
on. Like, I'm
Dude,
going
let's
to,
do
man.
it.
You're not
There
going to
was-
do that without me.
Yeah, there was 10 of us on the very first trip, and like, I mean, the trip was epic. I mean, so insane. Like, I mean, granted, the first time experiencing a lot of that on a motorcycle,
Sure.
but the show was epic. It was in Signal Hill, Long Beach, and it was just blocked off streets, and it was maniacal. Bikes everywhere, the coolest bikes everywhere, and just people partying in the streets. Like, this is so awesome. And then when the show's over, the adventure's only halfway over. You got to
Yeah,
get home.
You got to get home.
Yeah, you had. We took 7 days to get there.
So we don't take the same route home either. We'll go
Yeah.
one way, and then we're like, all right, now we got to go south.
New scenery.
Let's ride along the Mexican border going home and see how that is. It's fucking cool.
Dude, that's awesome.
Bikes rule.
Yeah, it's just a different perspective, From we talk like we're the only ones that's ever done this, but hell, dude, there's tons of dudes doing it. We just are fortunate enough to share it with like-minded people.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
It's awesome, dude, and I suggest anybody like do it. Like makes you appreciate things, look at things differently, and then you're like, hell yeah, man! Like I accomplished some shit.
Yeah,
You
got
Like,
some
I
heavy
did
shit
it.
going in your life. Get a bike, ride across country.
Yeah,
Fix
Clear
it.
your head.
It'll fix the problem, guaranteed.
yeah, because you'll be stoked on yourself after the fact. You're like, man, I built this thing. I brought it from Alabama to California and back, and it's smoking a little bit, but by God, it made it.
Yeah.
And like me and my friends didn't kill each other, and I've got a shit ton of stories now, and it's good. And you don't spend a lot of money. It's pretty cheap if you're camping the whole time.
Yeah,
Like us, we
Gas
stopped
is the
by
most
like,
expensive thing.
we stopped by a lot of bars too. Little dive bars or hole in the wall bars.
But I see these dudes with like the peanut tanks and stuff. And it's
That's
like,
us.
How
Yeah.
often do you do it?
We carry fuel cans.
Carry
We
fuel
spare
cans,
fuel.
jerry
Yeah.
cans and stuff.
If you got a good
remember
one, if
Kansas?
you got your tank Frisco mounted, you're gonna get 90 miles. That's it, and that's a good
Frisco,
mount.
man. What's Frisco?
what's
man, for-
It's a term where your gas tank is kind of as high as you can get, following the backbone, and your
so
filler cap.
every last drop. is
Yeah,
getting
your
down to
filler
that.
cap
Every
is
little
at the
bit.
very top, and your petcock bung is at the very bottom. So you're getting as much gas as
So
possible.
there's no reserve. It's just
No.
everything.
No, I mean,
all in it. Yeah.
You-
We
you-
do
no,
run
there was-
out of gas though, man.
we run out of gas a lot.
Like Kansas, remember when
Yeah.
it was dark?
You just feel the power start dropping.
Well,
You're like,
everybody
we have plans for that.
everybody knows who can go the farthest. Like, this guy's got a bigger gas tank. So that particular trip, one guy ran out of gas All right, crew, keep rolling up. All right, that guy ran out of gas. All right, keep rolling. This guy ran out of gas. And before you know it, we're all spread out, probably like 16 miles apart from each other in like different sections.
Well, we had talked about it beforehand. We're like, we're on a stretch, 100 miles. We're gonna run out of gas. It's gonna happen, inevitable. Don't stop. Like if you run out of gas, pull over. We'll come and get you, whatever. So we just dropped off like flies.
And
Just run it till it dies.
dude, and whoever's the up front is responsible for trying to get fuel to the rest of the guys. And I think maybe
So
I
you
had the
wanna
biggest
run out
gas
first.
tank.
you had 3.5 gallons.
So,
So you did it.
and this is nothing but cornfields as far as I can see. You couldn't even see lights. You couldn't see any kind of civilization forever because we're on some back road. And
Gotten
we're trying
dark.
to flag people down, but nobody would come down. Like, there's nobody there to even flag down. We got some random farmer to come by. We flagged him down. There was a co-op where you had to have like a special fuel card to go. There was 2 like feed silos and a fuel tank there. And
Fills
you
up
had
like
that-
farm implements.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. That's it. That's only for
like
the local
the power
farmers.
company or
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
So he had the fuel card for it. And I remember I had the biggest tanks. So I'm like, all right, I'll fill my tanks up. I had a gas jug, a Gatorade jug, and there was like a Freon, or not Freon, a
milk jug or
antifreeze
Make
like
sure it's
jug.
good and empty.
Yeah. And we just put gas and everything. And then I would ride back to the next guy in line and be like, take this fuel to this guy. Or I'll go fuel up and then I'll bring the next fuel. You know, you just like hand off all the gas
that's
cans until
insane.
everybody gets fuel. And then we get to the one like gas station or the gas pump. The farmer dude's waiting there. And I was like, hey, can you fill us all up now? We were able to put like a gallon of gas in everybody's tank to get here. And he's like, yeah, cool, man. And we just gave him a shit ton of cash. It's probably more like he probably got like $100 for like 8 gallons of gas.
Yeah.
But
We don't want to sleep on the side of the road in the middle
but
of
that's how
Kansas.
it happens. You run out of gas, you know, and then you have an adventure like that. You have a story like
Sounds
ah,
like an adventure. It's a great story.
yeah,
It's
dude. Like you never know how you're going to get to the or how you're going to solve the problem, but it always has gotten solved. I don't think we've ran into anything that we haven't.
I would
solved.
imagine you've gotten better at planning for
Dude,
these
we
trips and
are
stuff.
like I
We've
said,
gotten better and we've gotten worse, you know, and it's kind of cool.
we've gotten comfortable in our ways. We've gotten a little probably cocky, if anything.
Yeah,
Like,
which
man, it's gonna
bites
be
you in the
okay. I'm
ass
like,
real
no,
quick.
it didn't. It happened.
It blows up or something. Yeah.
Yeah, man, and it goes back to like everybody can contribute, you know, like you got people like Moon who's like probably a master fabricator, and then you got like Bowles who's gonna have tons of connections that like, hey, I know a guy in this area, he's gonna help us out or bring us this part.
The
or-
man who knows everybody.
exactly, yeah, you know, everybody helps
interesting
out,
man
and
in the
then
world.
or like, oh, Nick knows how to fix this, or you know, somebody along the route has a part that I remember they had for sale, or I'm gonna go see if they got it. And it's an adventure, man. Everybody contributes, and it turns into a great story after the fact. But at the time, everybody's a little heated. Nobody talks a lot.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
not talking to each other a whole lot during then. But after the fact, when we get buzzed at the campfire or something, you're like, hell yeah, man. And J-Bud just cooks us like all these badass steaks.
Well, yeah, I was
over a
going to say, that's like
campfire.
the best part. It's like, oh,
J-Bud's
you
the
eat whatever.
best on the trip, yeah.
We're going to go to the grocery store. As soon as you get to the grocery store, like, yes, the best part about the trips
Yeah.
right now is figuring out your camp and what we're eating tonight, boys. And you just divvy it up. It's
Dude,
like,
and that's
you
another
guys
thing.
get the meat, you guys get the produce, you guys get
Dude.
tinfoil, you guys get seasoning, and then you eat like kings every night.
Because
at a
J-Body and Bowls always have like all the good food stuff. J-Body's usually got a frying pan strapped to his sissy bar, like for real.
He's
And then-
just the given chef of the crew. Yeah.
Him and Bowles will always put together some nice creation for a dinner between what they have just in their camping bags. And mind you, we like pride ourselves in packing small. Don't bring a lot of shit. You don't have to deal with a lot of shit.
Yeah, you
So-
don't pack clothes. You're wearing the same shit for 2 weeks the whole time.
Yeah. If you bring a sleeping bag, and these are things you learn over the years, you bring a goose down bag, you bring a compression bag, so it packs up small because you don't have a lot of real estate on your sissy bar. You know, your
That's why I
chopper.
roll with a hammock.
That's
Yeah.
what I was gonna say. I feel you on the hammock.
Yeah.
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 Well, I can't do the hammock, man. They hurt my back. And when we
Dude, I'm the same way,
I heard
man.
You guys don't sit them upright.
We've been maybe not.
You need
Maybe
to
not.
tight like a
I'm
guitar
trying to
string,
like
man.
we've been trying to plan a kayaking trip, and I'm like, dude, I'm carrying a tent. I'm gonna sleep on the
I
ground.
always bring a tent, dude.
But it's like
I can't do the hammock.
I know I need to sleep on the ground.
In
Sure,
Roswell,
it's
I would
because of
have
that.
got I would have
You
got taken in
yeah,
Roswell if I was in the hammock.
I thought you wanted to just, play with your wee-wee a little bit.
there's their adventures of the road, man. I don't know. No, in Roswell they would have got me, man.
Yeah, there were aliens out there for sure. Roswell was wild.
Yeah.
I know you recently moved out north Alabama.
Out towards
Yeah,
our parents.
Springville.
Yeah.
Springville, like my parents live up in like Clay on Highway 11 and stuff. We were talking about that. And they've been out there for about 10 years. And that's some of my favorite. You know, I have a Kawasaki Vulcan that I'll go and ride with my dad. He's got a Road
The
King.
worst carbs to work on, period.
They're pretty bad. Yeah. So we'll go out.
Horizontal, they face each other like that.
They're very crazy. Yeah. Kind of like a jet ski made by Kawasaki.
Yeah,
I've been
small
working
hands.
on.
You gotta have
yeah.
small hands to work on it.
Freaking jet ski. I want it, but he's got to take
They
those
run
eight-
like a top.
He's got 8 hangers on it. And I'm
That's
not.
sick, dude.
I'm
Oh,
not.
you look cool though.
You look cool. Yeah. And just the riding up there, like being on 11 and some of those backcountry roads and stuff, it's just, I don't know, it's a lot of fun.
Well, that's
Enjoy it.
arguably like our favorite road.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd say it's the second best road in Alabama. First one is Highway 9. That one it's like Highway 11, but there's water. But
Now, where is 9?
Highway 9 is like basically if you're at it starts at like Mount Cheehaw and goes north from there.
Oh, okay.
So it's farther east.
Right.
But Highway 11 is you got mountains, white picket
Dude,
fences,
it is
small
epic,
towns.
man. Like some of those
Amazing.
places, I can't believe this is like right up the street. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like wild. So yeah, what are your thoughts of being out there? And what was you decided? You said you lived in downtown. And you were Irondale for life. And
Oh, yeah.
You decided no.
I've always been a city boy, man.
Yeah.
Like, and actually, where my house is, there's a 4-way at our first gas stop when we leave town. We always stop at
Are
this
you recording?
4-way.
We're good. You told me to remind you. Okay.
There's a 4-way that we always stop for gas at, and it's right when the roads get really, really pretty. And I live right next to
Is that the
4-way.
one? There's a garage right there, and I think there was like a Triumph shop, or not a Triumph, or what's the other? There's a couple other bike brands that were not Triumph.
You lost me there, brother.
Yeah.
There's a
I
guy
didn't know
that
they
has.
had made others than Harley, bro.
There we go. There was a dude. He owns it's like Kenny's Auto Repair Shop cars, and it's like right there. And is that the 4-way before you get to like the downtown?
I think
area?
that's like a used car dealership now.
Okay.
But
I didn't know if he was still there. He used to ride. We went on a couple trips with him. But anyways,
it makes sense.
I was trying to think of that downtown area that you're talking about. There's like an old, like antebellum white house with the round, whatever you call it.
Yeah, the
thing.
columns.
It's like
going
right
up.
there.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of those going right down the street.
And then you're right next to the water.
Yeah.
And then there's like the historic like downtown area. So yeah, I know
for
where you're at.
Slow moving, small shops, all that stuff.
Model Ts.
Yeah,
just
no,
driving around.
seriously, like there's old cars and old bikes that are not old bikes, but old cars and motorcycles all day long. When I'll go down to the gas station to get cigarettes or whatever, there's bikes there. Like, this is cool. This is Irondale's not. Irondale's inner city in a way. So you're like, oh yeah, there's a donk, you know.
But going back to the dojo, you guys were in your second spot for another 5 years.
Yeah.
And you said you guys aren't currently there anymore, but you're on the same block. You guys moved down the street.
So we had our 10-year dojo party last year, and that was we found out we had to leave because our owners sold the building, and we ended up with a spot down the street because high school worked at this building chopping firewood, and the dude that owns the building super cool, and he heard about our dilemma, like, oh yeah, they sold the building, you guys, and the guy that bought the building was really cool. He gave us like 6 months to figure it out, which most people would be like, fuck off,
Get out of here.
get out of here.
Your lease is up next week.
Yeah, exactly. So we locked in the new place. High school's old boss was like, man, I'm just using this building as storage. I'd much rather make money off you guys a month. So I'll get it figured out, finish out your lease here, yada, yada, yada. So we were able to do a 10-year party where we're moving shops, and it was just epic. So the new shop is bigger and better than all of them.
It's bigger.
Oh, yeah, it's 7,800 square feet.
Oh, wow.
And it's built in 46. So like, it's center block walls that are insulated with wood beams on the top. It's just awesome inside, man.
Game changer.
Yeah. And it went like more production than party. So we still have our bar and everything in the shop, and we still have a good time, but you can kind of close the rest of the world off to the dojo. If people show up, we have a lot of friends that want to come by and hang out and drink beers. You can close them in the front. You can't come back here. We're working on stuff. You know, you couldn't do that at the old ones.
But everything you're doing, like you said, it's just like passion projects. You're not like, you don't do much custom work or contract work, I guess is the word I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's few and far between.
Yeah, it's just if somebody needs something, we'll knock it out. But Mostly, it's whatever we're working on at the time is
Yeah.
kind of.
But what we do, man, we love it so much that focus is key. You know, if you're getting distracted, you're not gonna really put all your attention.
I want to party at the dojo, dude.
Exactly.
I want a tool on.
Exactly.
Yeah. My bike's running. I'm good.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of do things like stuff like that. We kind of do elsewhere. Like anything I do for customers is usually outside of the dojo anyway. Because I kind of feel like man, like this is kind of everybody's spot. Like I don't need to be that guy.
Yeah.
You know, like do you want
Trying to
me
get some work done. Chill
Yeah,
out.
you know, some dude wants me to weld something. I'm not gonna be like, hey, can you guys turn down the rave music? You know, but it's like I get it. You know, I like to have a good time too. So I do most of the like work I get paid for is outside the dojo, and Nick too. Like most of the stuff that we'll still use the dojo for stuff, but
That was
I
kind of
didn't get
my
that till recently.
yeah. That was kind of my thing. I didn't know if you guys were just full blown, full time bike
no,
mechanics.
I have
if that's what
I
you
have a
guys
regular
did.
9 to 5, man. I've been working for the same company for 16 years.
Oh wow.
And the motorcycle stuff just pays for the motorcycle stuff.
I
And
gotcha.
I got a guy that kind of works for me, and we just work on motorcycle stuff. But I don't know, if it becomes a real job, I don't think I like motorcycles anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Probably wouldn't be
Yeah.
as much fun, I guess,
Yeah.
if you have to do it.
yeah,
Like,
it's more of a passion still. Like my buddy Mike, me and him kind of work together on stuff. We'll do a lot of transmissions, and I'll do some welding and repair and stuff, and I'll sell some parts. That's really about it. And then if it become like a oil change, tire change, let me troubleshoot this, then it gets monotonous.
Yeah,
Nobody likes
sure.
it. Yeah.
Well, we were actually fortunate. Our friend Loaf just opened a shop down the street called Sanctuary Cycles.
Yeah, yeah.
So when that comes to the shop, we
Send
don't
him
have
to
to-
Loaf.
Yeah, we don't have to be
Yeah.
like not necessarily
Go see
dicks.
our buddy. Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't. We're like, hey man, we don't do that. Like now we can go. Hey, go right down the street.
Exactly.
right.
Our friend Loaf owns a shop. Tell him we sent you, and he's got a full
Perfect.
mechanic shop.
Yeah.
Because I got a
There
Harley
you
right
go.
on the other
Yeah,
side
yeah,
of this
check it out,
wall.
There you
Harley
go. Go
over
see
there.
Loaf.
That just needs
Sorry,
some
Loaf, you're gonna
tuning
get
up
mad.
and
You
stuff.
should go see Loaf.
Shouting him out,
Yeah.
he's gonna blow up right now.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Well, that's
More
cool,
work
man.
than he can handle.
He's a good dude, man. He knows what's up. He's a good dude.
That's awesome.
He's actually building me a motor right now. I'm very excited about it.
He's a
Sweet.
good dude.
Okay, well I have to hit up Loaf.
Yeah. Sanctuary
too.
Cycles,
Boy,
man.
Loaf.
He's right there on
Sanctuary
First
Cycles.
Avenue, like not far from the dojo. First Avenue North.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there from that Checkers or Rallies.
Yeah, I think it's
Oh, okay,
First Avenue
yeah.
and 41st Street. That's
Yeah.
kind of where he's at.
Yeah,
right
Is
in
that the
center.
one that's got graffiti all over it?
It's
no,
right
it's
next to
beside
it.
it. Everyone gets it confused. That's like a sport bike shop.
Okay.
His is like got the skull and the wings. He's the biker style looking one.
I
Yeah.
gotcha. I think
Yeah.
there's a local tattoo artist that did a lot of that stuff. He's cool dude. Anyways, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, right beside that.
That's cool.
That's it, man. He's a good dude.
I know some of your builds, you guys have kind of gained a reputation. Obviously, you have a big influence in the chopper world, and I've seen you guys in a lot of different magazines. Dice is like printed, I believe, bikes from both of you guys that you built. I know Justin had one. I know
Yeah.
Daniel's had one. It's like a lot of
Yeah.
guys that hang out with you. It's like some of their builds.
It's because
like,
we like stem off each other. Like
Yeah.
it's like Moon is great at what he does. Bowles is great at what he does. Nick's great at what he does. Like, and I'll see him do something. Then this guy does something. This guy does something. I'm like, oh man, that's a great idea. I want to do something.
Yeah, it's
know?
not like you're biting each other's style. You're full blown like feeding off of each
Yeah.
other's style. That's why like it's like skateboarding. Once again, we're referencing that. It's like you know a New York skateboarder.
Always goes back to
100%. You know a New
Yep.
York skateboarder. You know a Birmingham bike. You know a Haints bike or a Dojo bike or whatever. It's just the style. They don't look the same, but it's the style.
yeah.
You know, it's like that inner city, like with skateboarding, it's like that inner city gritty style, or like, I don't know.
I guess I don't know the nuances enough to
But
know
it's exactly
if
like how
could spot
skateboarding
one.
is.
Yeah.
It's like you could tell that dude's from DC. Or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that dude's
I
from
could
New
spot
York.
that before I
Yeah.
could spot like a Birmingham bike versus like a West Coast
For
bike
sure.
or
Well, if
something.
you're
Yeah.
as engulfed in it as we are, it's
Sure.
like, okay, I know exactly where
I know
that came
exactly
from.
where that came from.
For sure.
But talk about the how do you get a spot in Dice or any of these other magazines? I know there's another
You
one.
ride
Iron,
ride
something.
your motorcycle everywhere.
Yeah.
And then somebody just approaches you and is like, "Hey, man, I'd like to do a piece about you in this build and
So,
put you in a magazine."
build a bike you're proud of, and then Dean that runs Dice and Matt, rest in peace. They had the eye for everything, and like, every time that I get a bike in Dice, I'm very proud.
So how many times have you had or in any print? Like how many times? Or
Hell, it's been quite a few.
quite a
that we've
few.
had. Yeah, but like I mean, every time it's an honor.
Yeah,
you
sure.
know, and it's just
Yeah.
like the dudes that run these magazines. They're not just some dorks. They
It's dudes that we
Well, they truly have to
yeah.
understand
Totally.
the culture and stuff.
Yeah, and
Well,
they know good bikes, and you know every bike that I've never opened up a dice, and I have a collection almost back to the first one. To this day, I still have almost every dice. Every bike is killer.
Yeah.
Just like fuck yeah, nothing's boring about the magazine. So when Dice is like, yeah, I want to run this, we're like, fuck, you know,
Just get that email. And
Yeah,
you're like, oh,
totally.
dude, yeah, I can get some pictures sent to you for
yeah,
sure.
it's on.
Get a little
dude.
write-up. That's
This is
awesome.
sick.
So speaking to that, how old is that magazine?
They start in like 2006.
So it's relatively new. It's not like something. Like,
No,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
that new, but it's not that. It's not some like. It's not like Easy Rider or anything.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. But they're the like. They go with like what's cool. Like they follow the cool scene. Because I remember the first Dice I saw was probably like the second issue. I think.
Yeah, it was like 2005.
And it blew my
just like a
mind.
local zine that some dudes.
In a way, it started in London. So,
Oh, wow,
and
okay.
it's got its own unique size and whatnot. So but I mean, it's high quality prints, but it's
Sure.
not your big, cheap, I can rip the newspaper out of a magazine.
It's not a juice magazine.
Yeah, it's
or
more
something.
like a
Yeah.
boutique magazine.
But and they're bikers though, so they like both of them ride and they have cool shit. They do cool shit and like
Like, dude, we gotta start a magazine, man.
yeah, and,
Do
and
this.
that's really like I think why we broke down with them so hard. Like before
They're
Matt
just
passed
real.
away, like yeah,
These
dude.
real dudes, you know, like I mean, I guess like a lot of the other magazines we grew up looking at where you could submit.
Just kind of run of the mill.
Yeah, you could submit your bike to the magazine, and if they run it, they run it. If they don't, like Dice doesn't do that. You know, they'll seek out cool bikes. That's why they have so much unique stuff you've never seen.
That's why Brad Pitt's got a subscription. Just
There you
saying.
go.
He
Name
does,
drop there.
He does. I'm just saying.
Well, Brad Pitt's got some cool bikes too.
Dude, what's his name? Tony Hawk's son.
Riley Hawk.
Riley
Yeah.
Hawk.
Yeah.
He's got a rad.
Yeah, he's
child,
got
man.
some
There's a
cool
connection there, yeah. Everybody kind of knows everybody, man. Like it's the skateboarding motorcycle thing.
It's like the skateboarding that you're not gonna get pro off of, you know. So you kind of seek out the pure ones,
Yeah.
and the dudes that are real. And being skateboarders, you can sniff out a phony. So you're like, all right, dude, that's a good bike, and that dude's cool, and it's just kind of how it works. We have that third eye that other people don't have. Being
wild.
skateboarders.
So do you guys have any projects underway right now that you're just like dying to get done?
Dude, we've always.
I mean,
everybody in
yeah,
the
I
shop.
I mean, everybody has a project, but is there anything you're on the cusp of like having finished? If you could just find that one valve stem or whatever.
He
you know, that you're
might.
looking
I
for.
just finished a bike not too long ago, so I'm collecting parts and having my engine built by Loaf to do a new bike right now. But it's nothing that'll be done really soon.
Speaking of some of these older bikes, is there anyone out there that's manufacturing like replicas of? Do you lose some? I mean, obviously, it's not as cool when you hunt
You
down.
lose some street cred from getting.
It's like, I just spent like $20,000 and had a reproduction.
Well, a cool
motor
bike's a
built.
cool bike. End of the
Yeah.
day, it's a cool bike. It doesn't matter what kind of motor's in it, if you make it yourself or if you whatever.
Yeah.
But there's something to be said about having a true bike from the 40s or the 50s or the 60s, a true engine that you had to hunt down and find and have built, rather than going and buying a replica motor. But if you did that, all cool. If you built a really killer bike out of it, you're going to impress people regardless of the mill.
Yeah.
But it just adds that extra icing on the cake. If you're like, dude,
I found it. This is a barn find, or I
Yeah.
found this part here, this area.
Yeah.
Or I've been building this bike for 10 years.
Dude,
or
it's a status thing for real. Like you'll get you've got two options to be first place. Basically, you can build everything and you get just as much credit, or you get with a different crowd, but same trophy. If they were giving them, would be what we call a period correct or 100-point bike or whatever. You want to use all OEM, like original parts. But if you built your frame, no one knocks you. Like, hey, you did what I can't do. Or like, hey, you found that part that I can't find. Or you can be like, hey, I ordered this replica thing off the internet. Like, whatever. It gets you down the road. It's cool riding, like cool bike. It rides, whatever. But you get the cool points for making it or finding the original. That's how you get like all the cool points. But like he said, to really be proud of it would be like, hey, I found all the correct parts for this.
You got a story for every part.
Exactly, yeah. And it's like, hey, I got this 1936 like motorcycle. They didn't manufacture this part for very long, but I was able to find it. And in our world, everything's called hen's teeth. So like it's rare as hen's teeth. So I found this, but at the same time, I see a dude that makes a frame from scratch. I'm like, hell yeah, dude, that looks great. Like
just
wow.
welds it from
and people do that. Like,
and it's hard to do.
Yeah.
And that's not something easy.
Yeah, like, and that's like in our, like, we have different personalities in our shop. Like some guys are like, hey, I just want to ride my motorcycle. I'm gonna put it together. Or people like Moon are like, dude, I can fucking make that better than they,
build this shit from the ground.
Moon will make it from scratch.
Sure.
Or Bolt's like, dude, I like this particular style from like the South Bay area. I want this. And if he can't find it, he's gonna find somebody to help him like put it together. And he's great about finding the history on stuff because he wants like the history behind that particular thing. And like Nick and me are like, hey, we want the original stuff because that's what they were doing back in the day. That's what got us into this.
Yeah, we both kind of have a passion for the West Coast Club in the 60s. Like the stuff that they did, like, and they made movies about and stuff. That's kind of like the iconic bikes in our eyes.
Is that kind of the psychedelic stuff that you see?
Well, it's like Life magazine photo shoots and stuff like that for when, freaking out the squares and coming back from World War II, like those kind of bikes. Like that was nothing was made like that then. And
like
it's
the
a
Peter
time,
Fonda, Dennis Hopper.
Kind of, yeah.
They were
it's
just
kind of
strip it down like stock bikes.
Yeah, it's like a timeless style
Yeah.
that is just killer. It's like the Jay Adams photo, where he's like in the pool, like just style galore.
Sure.
That's how those bikes affect me. I'm like, dude, that's just timeless. It's killer. Like, even though you're not reinventing the wheel, that's how I like everything to look. And that I put together is that it's just dripping with style.
Dripping with style.
I love it. That's just,
and that's everybody's like in the dojo. Like everybody's got a different outlook. Like hell, some dudes like. There's a category like tough guy bikes, like people like
tough
those
guy bikes,
and that shit's cool.
It's an
That
80s
shit's
style,
awesome.
80s style. Like
Tough guy bikes.
there's 50 style, 60 style, 70 style. There's generations, but like Scotty's got his own style, which everybody loves. And that's,
Who's the dude that has like the tall exhaust with the flapper?
that's high school.
High school.
That's
Okay.
high school, yeah.
All right.
See, high school's got his own style.
Dude, that was
We got
that stood out. Yeah.
too. There's tons of dudes in there. Like John Powers has got his own style.
Yeah.
Like there's tons of guys in the shop. Zach's even on his thing. Zach's got his own style. Kurt's everybody does their own thing.
definitely has his
Everybody in
own
the
style.
dojo, man. Like, and Shane is just a wizard at everything. So he's got every style under his belt.
yeah, switches it up.
You got a lot of dudes, man.
Dude, there's a ton. Like
There's a lot in there.
I can't even
And
think
I'm
of everybody
sorry,
off the top of
anyone
my
that I'm
head.
forgetting right now, man.
Yeah, there's a ton of dudes. Meeks, obviously. Meeks has his own style. He does his
I
thing.
love Meeks' style. I
Yeah.
love his bike so much.
Yeah. Then you got Rambo, who just likes what he's got and is going to ride it. So Rambo's
Till the
got
wheels
his
fall
style.
off.
Yeah.
Well, Rambo's Sportster is kind of the coolest Sportster in my opinion. That thing rules. It is just perfect. It's like a
Sportsters
bike.
are cool, man.
Dude,
Oh,
we've got
absolutely.
everything in the
Just
shop. Like
yeah.
Ryan Grayson's got FXR, Scoozel's got FXR, like, and they just like to ride motorcycles, man. Like that's everybody, and they've done choppers. Ryan Grayson has a chopper that Vinny bought, and hell, that's a good bike, man.
Yeah. He's ridden on many trips.
Warren's got like a stock bike that was his dad's bike. That's a crazy history right there. Just Warren's story for his bike. So
It's a pink and turquoise bike.
you've probably seen it floating around the shop.
The
yeah.
pink bike, I
That's
think,
Warren.
went on the that went on the trip, didn't it?
Yeah, this
Yeah,
last
the
trip.
recent
Yeah,
trip,
yeah. That's Warren.
That's
He's a good
awesome,
dude,
man.
yeah.
It's got the like saddlebags on the
Dude,
back.
that's
and
somebody you
stuff.
need to talk to, man. Like that's a whole. Cool. You guys would be
Well, you
here
guys
all
are my
night.
floodgate into like the rest of the crew.
Dude,
Yeah.
and
that's
getting
the
guys
guy
on,
you
so.
definitely need to talk to, man. Like
awesome.
he is he's got some stuff. He's got some information.
Well, if I had to ask you guys, of all the bikes you've built, tooled on, worked on, bikes in the works, what bikes are you most proud of? I guess it's kind of more of an individual question.
He's got hit.
but
Everybody's
like
got
the,
theirs.
like
It's
the
a great
one
question.
bike you would never sell.
great question,
That,
yeah.
that is
That is
going
a
with
really
you
good
to the
question.
grave.
That's an answer that is all over the board. Like
Okay.
my bike is my black Panhead.
Oh.
Yeah, let's re up. My black Panhead. And
I've heard the story, so I need another beer.
Yeah, I need
kidding.
another beer. Period.
Just
I'm
kidding.
running empty.
Thanks, guys.
But like I said, when,
Black Panhead. That's
Yeah.
the one with the leather seat that kind of goes over the back. I think I've seen you post, obviously.
yeah, well,
some
I
pictures of
change it up
so-
every once in a while. It's got what's called a pogo seat on it right now. But I built that bike in 2012 when me and Duane were both building our Panheads at the same time. And most of the
It came in a crate like this. Like,
Yeah,
it was
literally a milk crate.
A crate.
it was-
I can remember.
yeah cases were split. It was a legit basket case. But when I
Did you
built
find it? I mean, how did you come across?
Yeah,
the,
well,
the
so
parts?
so our guy Rick that builds most of our motors, he knew I was looking for a Panhead, and he called me up. He's like, "I got one for sale." So I went up there, looked at it. Yeah, I'll buy it, and then I'm leaving it with you because you're gonna build the motor anyways. So he had the motor, and then I hunted down the rest of the parts, and the parts were all swap meet parts. I've made very little for that bike, so it was all everything on that bike is 50s era Panhead that I found at swap meets and whatever, and I bolted them together. That's the bike I'll never sell because I built that bike for me, not to impress anyone. It's crusty. It looks like a hunk of shit, but that bike starts first kick every time, and I've ridden it all over the country. And that's the one that's like in my will.
Yeah.
Like this thing is in front of the fireplace.
Now, what about the
forever.
frame and all that? Like,
Oh,
where did that come from?
The frame. The frame.
When you had the engine, was it in the frame?
no,
No,
I just got
okay.
the motor
You just had the motor. So
yeah.
you're starting with a motor.
Yeah.
There's nothing else.
for sure. Well, that's how we mostly started is with the motor.
Sure. Yeah. See,
That's
to
how
the-
we
to
can
the-
afford it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know shit. So it's like, okay,
Buy
I
it
have a
in pieces.
motor.
Yeah.
I got to put it in something. Where do I go next? You know,
Definitely.
what do you do?
My buddy Josh in Virginia had a 57 frame, and I was like, dude, I'll buy that. And then I got that, and then before you know it, I got a motor and a frame sitting
So
on
once
the
you have a motor and
workbench.
a frame, you're off to the races.
Well, you
Yeah.
could kind of start seeing it
Sure.
at that point in time. But this was at the old dojo, so it's up on the workbench.
A table like
Dude,
this. Yeah.
Yeah, with
just sitting there.
40 dudes around at all times. like,
Partying,
just-
doing homemade tattoos.
Yeah, I think that inside the timer cap, I found a cigarette put out in the points.
Cigarette.
Yeah, it was like what? Well, yeah. So like as I got money, I started piecing parts on it, and that's the one that's my main bitch. I got the gas tanks from Duane, in that barn find thing he got, and on the gas tanks, pinstripe that says "My Lady," which is perfect. Like those are the tanks that will always be on that bike. So
And they were probably painted that way in probably 78 or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
They-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, everything on that bike is pretty much OEM Harley stuff. I made very little, and it's just stuff I found and made work. And it's just anyone could put that bike together, but it's my favorite one.
Yeah.
So and that's how his Panhead is the exact same but different. He put it together, but it's a custom bike. It's nicely molded, painted, super nice.
Yeah, I was for,
Everything's fabricated.
Mama tried. There's a
Is
motorcycle.
this the one with the dandelions?
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
the dandelion
yeah,
bike? Okay.
yeah.
All right. So how did that start?
So our buddy Warren, who we actually kind of got to know on the first super trip from Wisconsin.
Wait, the bike or
The bike, Mama
Okay.
tried. So Mama, like I got a Panhead, wanted to build a Panhead, and then the Mama tried show in Milwaukee came up, and I think this was the first one, and they wanted some Haints bikes there, and there's a few of us that brought bikes.
Gotta have some Haints bikes.
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Get the Haints
and-
out here, dude.
And I was like, yeah, man, this is a good opportunity to like get me motivated to finish this thing. So I bought the motor from Barber's. It was actually a lady from out of state had a motorcycle for sale at Barber's.
So they have like a vintage bike fest.
Yeah, at
For
the
those
swap
that
meet.
don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just
Yep.
like rando
It's Vintage
people
Fest,
from all over the place.
and it's the second weekend in October. And there was a lady there that had a complete Panhead motorcycle dressed up like a fat boy. But I knew the motor was original, the frame was original, and me and Nick
Fat
had looked
Boy's a
at it.
model of motorcycle for people
Yeah,
that don't know.
Fat Boy is like a later model bike, and very popular. Terminator rode one.
Yeah.
But
Oh, is that the one he drove in?
yeah, that's
running
it.
from the
That's
thing.
it.
All
Yeah,
right,
he jumped.
sweet,
That's
sweet. All right.
and they had it dressed up like that, but it had a 1960 Panhead motor in it. And I've been hawking it, looked at it, talked to the lady, got some money scrounged up, borrowed some money and everything. And then me and Nick looked at it, and then this day and age, like that bike would have already been gone, like first day of the event. But back then, it wasn't that popular. So anyway, long story short, I ended up getting the motorcycle, wanted to build a chopper out of it because it was a stock looking motorcycle. Got invited to this show, thought I would do it up. Shane actually painted it. He did the flowers, the mural, all that stuff on there, molded it in. I had this long, tall Springer on it and all this stuff. And me and Nick tag teamed it at the dojo, putting it together for the show. And we'd never done show bikes. We just bolt stuff together. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but this one, you got like a deadline.
Dude,
You're like, dude, like this is on,
dude,
man.
We're taping up wrenches, doing all this. And I call Moon, and Moon works at a like high-end hot rod shop, Feeney's Hot Rod. So like, he's telling me all these things to do to protect the paint and all this stuff, and I'm doing that. That's awesome. And Shane did a great job on the frame, and then Rick, like our buddy,
it's like a China cabinet. The paint looks like a China cabinet.
Yeah, it's like an old lady's teacup. But like the guy he's talking about, Rick, he has this shop in North Alabama, Rick Cycle Parts. He's the one that did the motor for me, and I don't know what the deal was, the transmission, but basically the whole thing had to be gone through. I pulled it out of a swing arm frame, put it into a rigid frame. And I was like, it's got to be a chopper. Put the small peanut tank on there, all that good stuff. And then brought it to that show in Milwaukee. It was cool. Super stoked on everybody liked the bike. I would like the bike. I was like, hell yeah, I got this long, crazy bike. It's molded up, super nice. And then we decided to go to Kentucky. No, Chicago. We rode to Chicago.
You're riding this bike.
Yeah, I broke the Springer in Chicago. Like, there's this huge speed bump. Dude, whenever this speed bump and my Springer like broke, I was like, oh shit, what do I do? I was like, all right, I can get it back. We're in Chicago. We got tons of people, tons of friends. This goes back to like, hey, I know this guy in the city or the state. So our buddy Bobby, who's like a badass like chopper builder, he has a shop
Bobby
and
the
everything.
Leg, baby.
Yeah. So Bobby the Leg was like, yeah, man, I think I can help you out. But his shop was, I guess, across town or something. So our buddy Eugene actually worked for a local fabricator. They had all the stuff we needed. They just weren't a bike shop. They built, bridges or something. They built everything,
microwaves.
They built crazy stuff out of the metal.
Everything
I
needs
don't
to
know.
be welded.
Yeah.
So we go over there, man, and it's me, Moon, Bobby the Leg, and Eugene, and we're trying to like fix this Springer back so I can ride it back to Alabama. And we're on a crazy deadline. And dude, we got it fixed. I'm like, hell yeah, man. We welded it back up. And you may or may not know this, like it's hard to TIG weld on top of like braze. And original Harley everything was brazed in. So it was hard for us to TIG on top of the braze. So we're like, we'll just braze it back in. That's the way the factory used to do it. It didn't hold up. We should have TIGged it. We should have cut the braze out. We should have slugged it and then welded it up. Would have been great. Anyway, I'm in a hurry. I'm like, dude, let's just get it done. It's good. Hit another one of those huge ass speed bumps that they got in Chicago. In the middle of the city, man, it breaks again. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And we're going to Hoodbush.
Yeah.
We're going to Hoodbush.
That's in Milwaukee.
So
90 miles.
Dude, 90 miles away. We're in Chicago. So I jump on the back of Moon's bike. Moon's got this crazy long shovel head chopper with a king queen seat. And I'm sitting on the back of it, just hugging him. And I'm just sweating. Dude, his back was just covered in sweat where I'm sweating on him. And we're talking about a skinny chopper, dude. Like my junk's like up here. My legs are around him, my arms around him. He doesn't care. Me and him are best buds, dude.
Brothers love, man.
Dude, he gets it. He knows what's up. And we're jamming down the interstate, dude. Just cruising about all these tough guy bikers and stuff. And I'm like, I'm hugging Moon. I'm hugging Moon the whole time. Moon don't give a fuck. And then I'm just hugging on him. And then like we get to the show, we party, like Nick rode, Bowles rode, all the other Haints rode, a bunch of the Dojo guys were there, and I'm still on the back of like Moon's bike, Anyway, in doing so, Warren, our buddy Warren's like, hey, I got a Springer you can put on there, a Stockling Springer. I'm like, dude, can I borrow it?
So where's the bike?
The bike is still in Chicago. I rode from Chicago to Milwaukee on the back of his bike, and then rode back where a front end was waiting on me. Or no, I picked up the front end, put it in somebody's car, got it to Chicago. I left Milwaukee early while these dudes are still partying, get back to our buddy's shop, and I put this completely different front end on a short front end, and then we had a blast back.
We used to make mistakes. We used to hang out.
We partied too hard.
We're like the last people at the party, and then it's Sunday, and you're like,
oh, shit. I gotta get.
Dude, I gotta be at work on Monday.
Shane had his son. Shane's son came with him on that trip. Shane's son rode his chopper on the king queen seat on the back of the CC bar the whole way. He's like, dude, I gotta get my son back at this time. He was probably 14 at the time, maybe 13,
Something
14.
like that, yeah.
Anyway, kid had a blast, dude. He was having a good time, but we had to get him back on Sunday. And my front end had broke, all this stuff. So we were like, dude, me, Shane, and Moon, we're going to leave early. In doing so, we thought we were going to run a toll. The fucking arm was down. And I had a short front end, so I couldn't see it. Because usually I'm like way up here because I have a tall front end, but I had a short front end on it now because my buddy let me borrow it completely different front end.
Mess up the handling?
Well, it was a process. Like I had to I got back.
Don't let me derail you. Tell me about the.
No, I got back. I put a different front end on the bike.
You take a couple laps in the parking lot. I got
good.
this.
And I mailed it back to him. Once I got back to Alabama, I just sent him the whole front end back. But anyway, we're jamming back, trying to get back to Alabama in a decent time, dude. And in Chicago, all the dudes there, they jam the tolls. They cover their tag. That way they don't get a ticket. They just jam through like the toll. I thought that's what we were going to do. I didn't know the fucking arm was down.
Oh my God.
Dude. So I'm like, lock it up, moon blast through the thing. But he's got a tall Springer. So I can't whatever he did to that Springer, he did it right because it took the brunt of it. It didn't fuck anything up, dude. The thing just folded back and flopped back, you know?
Oh, so it's on a spring.
Dude, I don't know.
I'm sure cars go through them
Dude,
all the time.
I'm picturing like a clothesline. Like,
Dude,
Pretty much.
I picture a 2x4
On a short bike, that's
dude,
how it's gonna be.
if I would have hit it, it would have got me. But him being on like the tall bike,
Yeah.
it hit the front end. It would have hit me in the chest. So I was like, damn, dude. But he hit it.
hits it.
I jammed around it. Like there's a small gap. I jammed around it. It slicks back, and then as soon as it slips back, Shane jams by, and Moon just starts shaking his head like this, like, what just happened? Oh my God! And this is like 5 a.m. The sun hasn't even come up yet because we're trying to make good time. I was like, Jesus, dude. So that bike took a toll to that bike. That's the bike I'll never sell. It's got great stories.
The bike literally took a toll.
Dude.
Dude.
Pun intended. It took it's
that
been through the
toll,
ringer, man. It's been to California, Sturgis, all the super trips. Like short of this last super trip, I think that's the bike I've taken on all, if not most of them. And this last super trip, I took a swing arm bike, and I was like, should have rode the Panhead, the chopper, the one with the flowers paint on the tank.
Yeah.
It won an award too. One year we rode it to Born Free and got best paint.
Yeah.
They got some best
Best
paint.
paint.
Award. They called my name wrong on the stage. They're
they
like
said
boat trip,
boat trip, yeah.
Duane boat trip. It's
Like, is that
Boatright.
me?
Yeah. And they called me up on stage and said my name wrong. I got the big award. And it's a huge show, man. So it's actually a big honor to win that.
Definitely.
But I gave the trophy to Shane because, like, Shane, you painted the bike. I didn't. So I felt like, here, Shane, you deserve this. It's a cool trophy, man. It's a best paint. It's like a nice little cutout thing. It's a good deal.
It was given by the V&M dudes. That dude Richard Marino.
Yeah, Richard.
Marino.
I can't say his last name.
Either way, Richard rules.
He did a graphic for the skate shop too. That same guy did. He's talking about the cool graphic with the Grim Reaper dude like praying or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that dude did that graphic. Yeah,
yeah.
that dude's cool. Skateboard stuff. Back to skateboarding. Here we are.
Oh, yeah.
But that's the bike I won't
around.
sell. Nick's got his bike he won't sell. Like all the dudes in the circle have the bikes. Like,
But those are our main rides too. You know, like
it's your most trusted, I guess.
Yeah, we have a lot of bikes and we enjoy riding other bikes, but I mean that's our comfort bike.
I'm gonna ride to California. That's
it's like I don't know, man. I'm gonna ride to the shop and it's like I'm gonna take my good, reliable old Chevy truck. That's just how it is. Like I mean, it's
because they passed the test.
Bike.
We built them. They passed the test several times for that matter.
For sure.
Like
you lived.
Yeah.
So
that dog will hunt. We'll keep it. You know.
Well, mine is also it's like not pretty, so I don't have to worry about anything. Like my other, like I have some bikes that are really nice and shiny. I'm like, oh man,
dude, my bike.
I gotta watch out for that puddle.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. But this one, it's like it's got enough life in it where you're just like,
dude, that's me.
Yeah.
My bike was nice
Covered in
at one
mud.
point, and now it is not. It is not nice anymore. But I was like, it still runs. Like maybe everybody knows it was nice at some point in its life, but yeah,
It's a true survivor.
jump on it and go. It is at this point. I guess it survived a lot. A lot of crazy things have happened on that bike.
Well, dude, that's sick, man. That's awesome. I know you have like kind of your own brand. You're doing like the Nick's Choppers thing. Is that just like kind of a side hustle, or what is that exactly?
Yeah, so I
mean, you're
started,
selling like cool shit, like backpacks and like cool
thank you.
like cool hats. We got some pictures and stuff pulled up here, and like cool shirts. And I see your stuff at like Orr, right down the street from us. We're in Avondale, local store. Shout out to Orr Mercantile.
All right.
What's up, John?
Yeah.
Well,
but I think it's cool, but that's just kind of like, that's not really, because that's what led me to believe that maybe you're just like a full-time mechanic. And I know like there's a guy, Kenny Slaughter, has his own thing. It's like a lot of dudes kind of have their own like brand, if you will,
Totally.
their own name, and
can you speak to that? Like what is
Yeah,
that?
for sure. So with me, like, I'm a graphic designer. So I've always liked cool t-shirts and all that stuff. And once I decided to start designing stuff and using Nick's Choppers as like, not a joke name, but like,
You just need like an outlet.
yeah,
for,
totally. Because it's like if you wrote graffiti, you just sit there and tag. It's just second nature. So I'm just designing stuff, and then I start selling T-shirts, and it actually people are stoked in what I'm doing. I'm like, all right, yeah, right on.
Fuck yeah,
So,
this is
like,
awesome. People are buying this stuff.
Yeah, and I'm not really lying because I do build and sell bikes too. So I'm like, yeah, cool, right on. I got a shop.
Yeah.
But so
More of like a passion project, I guess.
absolutely, it was a passion project, and then being a graphic designer full time during COVID, I got laid off from my job, which was a blessing in disguise.
Really?
So yeah, because I was an in-house designer for a local company, and to make ends meet, I just focus on the Nick's Choppers thing full time. So I still do freelance design on the side, but this has taken place. So like in 2020, I kicked it into high gear. I was like, I need to make some shit that I can sell and support my family, pay my mortgage.
Yeah.
And then the ideas keep coming, so we could be sitting here and I'm like, oh dude, I got a fucking idea. I'm gonna go home and draw something.
Yeah.
So it's cool, man. Like I don't know, money's a good reward, but seeing someone at a motorcycle show that you've never met wearing one of your shirts, you're like, dude,
It's a good feeling.
fuck yeah. I just got back from a show this weekend and I met a guy that was friends with one of my friends, and he introduced me to him, and he was wearing a Nick's Chopper shirt. I was like, see,
And you don't even know that dude. Yeah.
That right there is the ultimate reward. Like that dude thinks my design was so cool. He went and gave me his hard-earned money for it, and that is fucking awesome. Here's a beer, bro. It's cool. It's awesome. So that's what drives me to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And same thing with him. He's got the Peculiar Parts House, cool shirts, but he sells parts. So he makes it work.
I don't know how to work the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, nobody does.
I have to call Nick for everything.
Yeah, I have to call Zach for everything. I'm like, I don't know how to post stuff. But yeah, no, man, that's awesome. And you seeing your stuff floating around. Like we had Ben and James on, and he was rocking one of your sweaters.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I was like,
awesome.
dude, that's fucking so sick, And then I see your shit all around. You go to Mom's or anywhere else, local places, dive bars and stuff.
No, and that makes me so proud.
Yeah,
like, it makes me so stoked, dude.
It's like a cool local thing.
It's very humbling.
You either get it or you don't, and it's just rad.
Definitely,
so,
dude, and it's very humbling.
kudos.
And like, because when I do something like that, I'm like, I know this is cool, so I'm gonna make a T-shirt out of it, or like a vest or a hat or something. And when someone else is wearing it, it confirms that to me, and I'm like, fuck yes. And that's gotten me commissions on other artwork, and like, dudes want me to do T-shirts for them and brands for their company. I'm like, fuck yes, that is awesome. But I still got to focus on my shit, and like, I'm not a T-shirt company. I have to build choppers. Right. So I still try to give, when I'm building choppers, 100%. Like, I'm very proud of my latest bike, and I hope that represents what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Best of the ability. It's not just like, oh, this guy can draw good. It's like, okay, cool.
No, you have like a rad outlet. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
and like even the dojo stuff, man. I mean, like the rad, like Simpsons not like kick there.
That's Beavis and Butthead, dog.
Is it? Oh, okay, my bad. But just seeing some of the Haints designs on some of the shirts, and like you guys at one of the dojos had like a rad, like giant, like Haints thing with like the spider legs or something.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
Shane drew that. Yeah.
So where does that stuff come from? You see some.
Well, we have so many friends that are such.
Everybody's
good
just like kicking in like stuff.
Well, yeah, like a lot of our friends are tattoo artists, and when you're just stoked at each other, you just draw shit for your friends, and so that's kind of where that. It was like a skull with spider legs and a bandana.
Dude, it was rad. Like, it was like the beard became spider legs or something like that.
That's just Shane doing his thing,
cool.
And it's like,
I'm going to use that for the thumbnail for this.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'd probably find you the original one.
Yeah, man.
Like
send it to him. He does all the thumbnail stuff.
Awesome.
So. I can't believe I missed that Beavis and Butthead. That's actually the music we use for our little like teaser stuff we put online. I used the Beavis and Butthead theme. I missed that. Yeah. Anyways. Well, dude, this has been rad, like hearing from you guys and kind of hearing a backstory about the Haints and stuff. This has been sick. And yeah, man, thanks for taking the time to come talk with us and drink beers and hopefully
have you guys back on, or have some of the other guys back on.
Yeah,
you know, I know
dude.
you have
Yeah,
a
for
full
sure.
crew.
Tons,
So
tons of interesting stories.
How many
man.
people can you fit at the table?
I don't
The
know.
whole
Yeah,
crew,
no,
right?
man. We could
make it work.
We could
Bring
roll a
some
couple
more
more
mics in
chairs.
here.
up.
That would be
yeah.
We got a bar
interesting.
right here. We could
We
bring
do,
that up.
Just
yeah.
get some mics lined up on the bar.
That's
You'll
right,
get
yeah.
you'll get some good
Just
info.
get a few more cameras.
See
and
the next one at the
expand it.
dojo bar where you can actually see everyone.
Like
Yeah,
on
you
the-
guys are
there we
mobile,
go.
right?
Yeah,
You
no,
set
we
up?
can we
Yeah.
can be. Yeah. So,
Just come to the party, October 9th. Come to the party.
October
man.
9th.
Yeah,
So we're
dojo
putting that out
party.
there in the world.
Yeah,
Can
you-
anybody come? What does it
Anybody-
take to
just-
become a? I guess that's the last question I want to ask. What does it take to become a Haint?
You never asked that.
You never asked
to
that.
become a Haint.
So I just asked the
So you will never be
worst.
one.
So I'll never be one. Okay, don't ask.
No, it's an
Blood in,
attitude.
blood out, man. It's
You
one
got
of those
you got
things.
an official list, really,
Nah.
Haint?
Nah, not at all.
No,
Okay.
man.
All
It's
right,
not like that. You know, you guys got motorcycles. Anybody can come hang out. Like the the dojo party is. We got dudes that come to the dojo almost every day that don't even ride motorcycles.
Yeah,
It's just
really?
we've known them for so long.
We have a
That's
lot
cool.
of close affiliates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we have a lot.
I
of
drive
people
a
that-
Prius, but I'm a
Dude,
Haint,
Hey, no,
man.
exactly.
dude, that's
I'm a
fine.
Haint.
Do your thing.
We got a lot of
Yeah.
dudes that people think are Haints that actually aren't, but they just roll with us. They're our
That's
boys.
the thing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. You know, I think one of the only times I came to the original dojo, we were hanging out, and there's a bunch of people there, and then my friend Randy, brought me along, and I kind of met some people, and then when we left, they were like, "Those weren't even the Haints." And I was like, "Well, who are the Haints?"
Yeah,
Like,
it's not a secret society.
What's
but
the
like,
list? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
when it comes down to that stuff, it's like our special thing, and like it's not like when someone gets a Haint shirt, it's not like they're on social media like I'm a fucking Haint.
I'm a Haint.
Yeah, no, it's
Well, you
not
see
that
the
at all.
guys with the Instagram handles, they're like Alex Haint or Zach Haint. They got the Haint worked in,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, they're
Yeah, totally.
they're
They're
blood
flexing.
in.
They're
They're
flexing.
flexing
Totally.
big time. Yeah.
Well, it's just kind of it's a very special thing to us, and it's one of those things that like we're stoked on you.
Yeah.
One of those things that the rest of the world doesn't matter to us when it comes to the Haint stuff. All that matters is us 12. So it's kind of neat. Not secret society, but it's kind of in a way like that. It's like this is
You
our
either know or you don't.
Yeah, it's like this is
Yeah.
our business, and like in a joking way, but this is cool. This is really awesome.
Well, it's
Very
rad.
proud of it.
and to hear it from the guys, that started everything, or were part of the beginning of everything. I
Very
guess.
close to the beginning. Yes.
Very close to the beginning. Thanks for coming to drink some beers and stuff.
Absolutely.
This
Thanks
is
for
sick.
having me.